Live here tonight, and I'll be right back.
Apple TV Plus, May 5th. Rated mature. Would you look at that? Los Angeles, city of the dead. Could have been a lot worse. There's no buzz out. The schedule is released. Lots of great storylines. A rivalry game just the way we like it. All eyes on the quarterback. It's a true revenge game. Let's go! Leaps him in, and it is gone. If you're a fan of football, this is the day. Welcome to Kansas City.
Dun 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 dun. Welcome. We are. All right. Here's Roger Goodell, guys.
Okay, welcome to Kansas City and the 2023 NFL Draft. For the first time since we took the draft on the road, we get to celebrate the draft in the Super Bowl winning city with fans of all 32 teams.
Alrighty, there we go.
And the Chiefs Kingdom. As you can see, I have some friends on stage with me that you might recognize. They are Kansas City natives and love this community and their Chiefs. Give it up for Eric Stonestreet and Heidi Gardner of Big Slick, Kansas City.
Okay, Kansas City, I'm so happy to be here. And it is
All
my
right.
honor to bring to the stage right now Chiefs legends Dante Hall and Will Shields. Give it up!
Alrighty.
All right, Kansas City, I want to hear you! Home of the Super Bowl champions! This is how we do it!
Is that the guy from?
I get the distinct pleasure of welcoming two people you might recognize. Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce!
I think Eric Stonestreet's the guy from Modern Family. Huh. It's crazy. Hey, Dad. The guy that plays the fat guy in Modern Family is on the stage right now. The fat guy, the fat gay guy.
Hold up. Kansas City, I think we can do a little bit better than that. Chiefs Kingdom, can I hear you out there?
Yeah, that's the guy from Modern Family.
All right. Hey, Chiefs Kingdom, we in this game, boy.
Travis Kelce.
Hey, we qualified right to party, baby. How about it? It's steady Saturday or what? You know you gonna give me this mic on what? Hey, you ready to trade up for the number one pick this year or what? Please get a pick. All right, Kansas City, it's time to get the show started. The 2023 NFL Draft is now officially open.
All right, draft is open, guys. Let's go.
The Carolina Panthers are on the clock.
All right, so the Panthers are on the clock, and This should be a pretty interesting. They have 10 minutes each pick. So if each team takes 10 minutes to make their pick, it will be certainly a while tonight, guys. That's why we are here until the very end. We'll be here for 320 minutes. That is roughly 4 hours, I think. 60, 120, 180, 240. Yeah, but it shouldn't take that long. So the Panthers and the Bears trade. Panthers received the first overall pick, while the Bears received a second-round pick, first-round pick, second-round pick, and a DJ Moore. So, I mean, they got a pretty good, decent offer, and now it will be the Carolina Panthers picking on the first pick of the draft.
His size, height, and weight combined, so in the first round, let alone number one overall. So 5'10" and a quarter, 204. I said he had to be 195 or higher at the combine. He was a 204. We don't think he can maintain it. We will probably play about 190. But for Bryce Young, the only issue is size from the left side, and you're the ultimate outlier.
So Bryce Young, 5'10", quarterback, 204 pounds from Alabama. He's been a very good quarterback over there since Mac Jones left for the NFL. And he won the Heisman 2 seasons ago. Pretty good job. And when you look at his plays he's made, they're very versatile. He has a strong arm. A good job. By Jalen. Bryce Young, I mean.
Great pass down the middle of the field to Jahmyr Gibbs. Chip shot field goal range. They could move on maybe one. Just Bryce Young was carrying his team. He did get banged up in the shoulder, but overall, he can stay healthy and he can withstand punishment. He played 17 plus games. You have to start a great quarterback. That's the only question coming in to his NFL career is a lack of ideal time. So, Lewis, an interesting point that you made on our show.
There's Bryce Young, right there.
But there's also a more significant reason why any of these quarterbacks would love this pick in Carolina.
Yeah, look, Brandon, they are uniquely set up to support a young quarterback in ways that you don't see many organizations set up to support young quarterbacks. Just look at it from the very top. Frank Reich, so everybody knows his history as a player with the Buffalo Bills, as an offensive coordinator with his time in Philadelphia, coaching Nick Foles under Doug Peterson. I mean, this is a guy who has seen the quarterback position in every facet.
All right, so Frank Reich is they're picking third in here.
Uniquely positioned now to get two young running back in the class and passing game. Josh McCown, the quarterback coach. Anyone who has met Josh McCown will tell you this young man gets it. He gets it as a player. He gets the relationship aspect of it all. Jim Caldwell, the former head coach of the Detroit Lions, Indianapolis Colts, been around guys like Peyton Manning. The kind of football knowledge that coach brings to the table. Any of these quarterbacks would right now, I'm sure, be praying, please, Carolina, take me. Just take me because you're set up to succeed right out of the gate.
Yeah, for me, Bryce Young is my number one because what it takes to play quarterback is hard, decision-making, accuracy, the ability to add lift. And none of those require you to be taller than 5'10" and 204. I don't want to be concerned about his height.
So attributes here, poise and decision-making for Bryce Young. And here, you see, it takes 4.3 seconds. There's nobody attacking him from the D-line. And then decides to go ahead. 5.3 seconds now. Throws. And then he is also a creative playmaker. He's very creative. You have Travon Walker in there, Devontae Wyatt, and Kobe Dean, a 2022 pick. He's right there, and he makes a play on him. So he's been a very good player against some NFL players that are currently in the league, drafted last year. Bryce Young will most likely be picked here in pick number 1. All right. Here, 4 minutes. Bryce Young. It's been taking 4 minutes and a half to get their first pick going through. 4.5 minutes left. 4.5 minutes.
There was a moment when the Panthers guys looked at each other across the table and they knew, or at least had a good sense that this was their guy. But they still kept dating. They did their due diligence. And it wasn't until Monday when GM Scott Fitter walked into Reich's office and formally proposed the question. He popped that question knowing that the answer
All right.
They had their consensus QB.
Of course, yeah.
Becomes official tonight. Frank laughed when he said, like any great marriage, now the real work begins.
All right, we are almost ready. I think there's 3 minutes and 45 seconds left. CHS Golf Team started following me. That's funny. All right, the pick is in, guys. They here in a minute they will be going to the podium, but the pick is in as of right now. I miss maybe there might be a big trade going on today. There might be a kind of like an AJ Brown type trade from last year that might happen this year. Like DeAndre Hopkins might be traded from the Cardinals over to the maybe to the Texans again. The Texans might trade up from trade up to third in the order. Or second in the order, I mean.
You could say generational, but he doesn't have the Howard report on. He doesn't have 4-5 speed, so he doesn't have elite talent. What he is a heck of a player. He sees things that nobody else does. He has eyes in the back of his head. He processes so quickly. He thinks he has a photographic memory. He picks things up that quickly. Give him the game plan, he'll have it done in a minute. So the bottom line with Bryce Young is, and I'll worry about it.
All right, so this is going to be a pretty interesting draft today. This is one of the most interesting drafts I've seen in a while. Last year's draft wasn't that big. Not a lot of quarterbacks in that draft, but you've got a lot of different quarterbacks in this draft. They are projecting like 4 or 5 quarterbacks taken in the first round alone, like Will Levis, Anthony Robinson, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, of course. Now I think the pick is in. They'll be coming to the podium here in just a second. And I'll wait for them to announce it, and then I'll announce it if you can't hear it yourself. Here we go.
With the first pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Bryce Young, quarterback.
All right, so the Panthers picked Bryce Young, quarterback from Alabama, 5'10", 204 pounds. He is being compared to Drew Brees. Bryce Young is a pretty interesting quarterback, as we've been looking at, I guess, in the last 10 minutes that this has been on the clock. But anyway, there you have it. First round draft order on the bottom there. You can see Houston is on the board. And they're either in the pick they're either in the pick Will Anderson or they're in the pick CJ Stroud. It depends on which one is better to suit them. But so first Alabama player drafted number 1 in the common draft era. That is pretty interesting when you've noticed that Alabama has had a bunch of players going to the draft. First time they've been drafted first. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right. Last year's pick was, I think, from Georgia. And then two years ago, it was taken from Clemson, of course, with Trevor Lawrence. So this is a pretty interesting draft already. Bryce Young, we already knew he was going to be drafted. Number 1 overall, almost. We already knew that. And remember, Houston is on the clock next. So let's go ahead and see. I just want to, honestly,
as far as anticipation and accuracy and being able to layer throws over the second level in between linebackers and safety, it's as good as you will see. I will say this though, in talking to some of the coaches down there, they don't want him to live in that.
And this is a pretty great draft so far.
Give me a moment. Subway is taking us down to the stage, and Susan standing by with the number 1 pick. Susan.
As
that from the moment you took about 3 years old, they knew you were destined to this bus. What's it like to be standing on stage as the number 1 pick in the NFL?
And yeah, so overall, I think this is a pretty good pick by the Panthers.
Right, like quarterbacks are probably closer to that range. How many quarterbacks are under 6 feet in the NFL? You've got maybe Russell Wilson.
And I'm gonna go and share my screen. All right, so I guess the pick is in, guys. The Texans pick is in already. So
speculating about what the Texans are going to do. The pick is
I
in.
wonder.
Miles, any thought?
I mean,
what's
it's
going
gotta be
on
quarterback,
here?
right?
Has to be.
I don't know, y'all. Well, have they been able to keep that secret?
Honestly, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I would go Will Anderson here. DeMeco Ryans, defensive coach.
Alabama connection.
Dial it up.
Spencer.
Pretty interesting, guys. So it's going to either be Will Anderson or C.J. Stroud.
When they finally did, they traded up, they moved up, they got somebody. The rest of their roster was so solid, they were able to have a bust this week now in the first round of the draft. And they're fine, right? Like, so if they're best player on the board, like, you're getting the number 2 pick. So we'll probably take a big step back and divorce ourselves from the idea that it's the Houston Texans and just acknowledge that it's a roster with that strong.
And
This goes back to what I was talking about earlier in the show, right?
so Will Anderson Jr., the Texans draft room is open. The pick is in here, so let's take a look here in a second as they will take it over to the podium.
With that pick, potential value of a quarterback vis-a-vis an edge rusher or even a defense.
All right, here we go. Mel Kiper, of course, draft tradition. Graney, of course, down there on the ESPN little stage they have in the draft tent. I love this little setup they have. They have the banners, they have the TVs up. Pretty good little setup they have going on at Union Station. All right, so the Cardinals are on the clock. Of course, 7:36 remaining on their pick, and they have not announced the Texans pick yet. So we'll have to wait and see about the what are going on. So. All right, guys. I think it's going on here in a second. Will be Will Anderson. C.J. Stroud. Okay. So they pick a quarterback Okay. Okay. This is pretty interesting now. Wow, I thought they paid Will Anderson. That's crazy. So CJ Stroud, who of course CJ Stroud, of course, there's his highlights on the screen.
Down versus cover zero.
He's been a pretty good quarterback.
Defensive-wise, threw a touchdown pass. The ball placement to
in Ohio
wide
State,
receivers.
he's compared
You have a
to
quarterback on the
Dak
outside
Prescott,
who's cheating and jumping routes. You place that ball on the outside shoulder to the wide
14
receiver. Now he can just catch that ball, go
I'm going to
upfield.
turn off the
and
volume of
potentially
that
score.
there.
The ball placement of
Just
C.J.
see
Stroud,
the,
but also the arm strength and the way he operates from the pocket is phenomenal in my eyes.
So they're telling me we've got a site here at CJ Stroud's watch party. This is how it went down when he was selected. We want you to see it.
There you go. There's your
I didn't know there was more to it. They said keep going.
So pretty
I don't know.
interesting
Just
so far.
152
CJ
there.
Stroud, take a look at his
Everybody's happy for
never
CJ
seen
Stroud.
that before.
I'm
Stuff
going to
going on with him.
I'm asking a question because it's already come up in the chat about Alabama, number 1, and now about Ohio
he's been
State,
a
number 2.
very,
We've already seen
very
this
good
in the YouTube chat several times.
player.
The answer is, well, nobody from Ohio State that plays quarterback ever comes in and is successful, right? Like, we hear that all the time. No Alabama quarterback's ever been successful. They always talk about that. How much should we care about what former players have done in the same
Or just tell them to shut up.
CJ Stroud.
I'm the voice of the people. I'm the voice of the people here.
I'm not him. That's what you need to say. I'm not them. Also, I want you to go and look at the total crapshoot of schools, the random assortment of universities and programs generate top-level QB talent.
CJ Stroud, 85 passing touchdowns
the
in the last
greatest
2
quarterback
seasons,
alive,
led the
went to Texas
FCS.
Tech on
So
a
looking
team
pretty
that
good with
couldn't
that,
defend a
honestly.
stiff
CJ
breeze.
Stroud, a really
And
good
he's the
quarterback.
best
And the
alive.
Cardinals
Don't tell me
are,
the
of course,
pedigree
on.
matters here.
Lost
Just evaluate the
is their
talent.
pick
Lyles
in.
is just
No,
looking at
they
me like
4
I'm
minutes
an
and a half
absolute idiot.
left to
But
pick
if
their
I was
player.
sitting there and I hear that stuff, what
And
that got to do with me?
Yeah, no.
there is
You know what I mean?
the hometown
Well,
high
it's-
school watch
it's
party.
almost even
CJ
like
Stroud's
when we're just talking
alma
about
mater,
games,
his
period, right?
teachers,
It's like, oh,
and all that,
historically,
you know?
like they haven't done this, and it's like,
Here
bro, we're
you
taking
go,
data
and
back to like
these
1960.
picks
What's up?
go.
You know what I mean? Like that just does not matter.
All right, he has
CJ
pocket
Stroud
awareness.
is
That's
the
one of his
first
strengths,
CJ
pocket
Stroud,
awareness. He
and
knows
that's all
when
that
to throw
matters.
the
The only
ball.
thing he's got
If there's
in common
people
with
going
anybody
around
else that's ever
too
played
tired to sack
quarterback at
him,
Ohio State is
you
the
know
fact that
all
they played
that.
quarterback
Second,
at Ohio State. He
second
could
Ohio
become
State
Kirk Herbstreit if he wants to,
first in passing
right?
yards,
But it's probably not
second in
likely.
passing
He's going to
touchdowns,
be
and
CJ
first in
Stroud.
passing.
You know, I don't buy that.
You know, we would have said this
all-time
about a
record
couple of years
for the
ago.
Big Ten.
Alabama.
Looking pretty good.
Right?
But
The
he's
program
also
that has
building
now
to
delivered
38. He's
multiple
building to
first-round
great
picks.
plays
Yes,
whenever
first-round draft
he is
picks.
almost down,
By
almost
the way,
tackled
it's
on the
Chronic.
ground.
I love
He
your
is
YouTube
very
name
good
came in and said, I love
when it
Stroud,
comes
though. Thank God, no
to
more Davis
that.
Mills. I don't want to on Davis Mills.
So
but
honestly,
Field, you
maybe
mentioned it earlier.
Will Anderson will go to the Cardinals now. If not, he might go to Indianapolis Colts.
Field, what do you think of the fit here? Like, you're doing a full organizational rebuild. So what's all that mean for a quarterback coming into it?
Thank God. Thank God. Seriously, like again, I don't want to overstate.
So
I really like
Arizona,
Will Anderson and,
they might
Jalen
pick up Will
Carter,
Anderson
discussed
now.
at the beginning of the show. But
This is
again,
gonna be
you have the
a
opportunity to draft a
huge
quarterback.
draft so
I'm
far.
not saying I'm banking on the Texans
And
making a dramatic
CJ
leap
Stroud
next year,
going
but if they're picking
to,
9th next year
the Houston
in a quarterback
Texans,
draft class that is not currently viewed as deep as this one is,
a
you may
really
have-
big
you're gonna be
trade,
stuck with,
really
Case
big
Keenum purgatory
move
for the next
for
X number of
Houston.
years. So
Pick
my
up
big feeling
Stroud.
is that
But
you did
I
the
think
right
it's a
thing
big-
from an
I
asset
think it's a
management
good,
standpoint. And as far as like what it looks
good
like,
job.
the first-time
Honestly,
offensive
what
coordinator,
the
Bobby
score
Sloan,
I'm
comes
on
from
the
the
score
Kyle
app
Shanahan
here.
coaching staff in San Francisco, so you figure there'll be a lot of elements that will look
It has
like
his
what
draft
the 49ers
profile here.
have done
And,
what a lot of teams are
he has
doing,
good
right?
arm
Hockenberry
talent,
have played
accuracy,
in this offense
pocket
before, but
presence,
CJ Stroud, I know
lack
we
of
talked about a lot of the
improvisation
traits during the
is his
pre-draft
potential
process, but
concern,
his
and also
throwing
decision
work out at the
making versus
combine
pressure.
sort of
Also,
rubber
his
stamped what we
projection,
believed about him
long-term
for a
starter
long
with
time.
top 10
Which is that
upside.
he's the most
His
advanced
NFL
in this
comparison
class.
on
Yeah,
this
this thing
app
about the
is
Houston
Derek
Texans
Carr,
I do
but
love.
on this, it's Dak
Within this
Prescott.
draft, the
I
first
think
17
Dak Prescott and
picks,
Derek
they
Carr
have 5.
both
So
have
they really have
good.
opportunity within
Both
this
are about the
draft
same,
to really
honestly.
get some meaningful players within those top 5 picks within the first 73. So that's what I do love about this situation. Comes to the Houston Texans, they have been the laughingstock the last few years of the National Football League. They have an opportunity right now with
And
the
all
new
right.
head coach DeMeco Ryans to try to right those wrongs that they have.
Oh,
People fix it,
Arizona!
They do as an organization.
Oh!
So right now, when you have those picks, you're looking to get guys that can contribute right now. within those top 5.
And this is the quarterback where if he's
Breaking
you
news!
allow him
The
to play with
Texans
instinct,
trade up for the
that's-
third
you don't
pick.
do
They
better
just
than
picked the number 2
Like
pick.
truly,
They're
especially
picking
given his
for number
size and
3
everything else
now.
like that. But he throws
Traded
the
up
best
with
ball.
the Cardinals.
If he's playing with instinct,
Wow,
and you
what a
surround him with
shocking
those other
pick.
players, then
My
you're
buddy
in
at
business.
school
He's the best,
predicted
probably,
that
he's a
today.
very good runner
he
as
predicted
well.
that
Can be.
they
We
would
didn't see a
trade
ton of
up,
it during his
and they
college career,
did.
and
As
who
breaking
knows
news from
what the
Adam
Texans do with
Schefter.
him as far
Adam
as that
Schefter, one of the
utilization is
best
concerned. But you have to keep in mind, in
news
college, so many
person
of these
in the
guys,
sports
and I understand
industry.
this, by the way, are
Crazy
protecting themselves from the
trade.
pros.
Yep.
Right?
I
if you're
didn't
CJ
know
Stroud,
that
you
was
only
gonna
run the
be-
ball
that was gonna
125 times a
happen.
season at Ohio
Wow.
State when you can win
This
and
is
win
crazy.
big. They almost beat
They
the
do
national
trade up
champ
for
by just putting it on a
the
dime.
number
Marvin Harrison
3rd
Jr. every
overall
play.
pick.
Wait.
Oh, no.
Oh!
Wow.
After weeks of speculation, we know we have a trade. We will
Wow.
get to the details. Houston is on the clock.
That is crazy. There's
Houston
Nick
is
Saban
on the
in the
clock.
crowd.
The Arizona Cardinals have traded the 3rd
at
overall
the
pick
draft
to
party.
Houston.
So there is
I
the
will
trade
say, by
alert
the
now
way, one
popping
thing I
up
love
on
about
the
Houston in
screen.
this situation, 6-year deal for D'Amico
They
Ryans. I
traded
know the
back
Texans have their
to the
history of getting rid of
Texans.
coaches quickly, but if
There
you
you
want
go.
stability,
I
at
want
least
to see
having
for
some of
who,
that
though. I want to
contract
see
there
what they
could
traded.
hopefully
Did they
create
trade
that.
for the 12th
Cardinals
pick
and
too?
Texans. Now, Field's going to be
If
our
that happens,
trade
they
general, so when we
kept
get the
the 12th
details
overall
on the trade,
pick. They
Field,
have 3
chime in. But in the meantime,
picks
just because I
in
want to
this
do it one more
draft. So
time.
the pick is in now for the
Need a little bit
Texans.
more
spot,
base.
too.
Well, I just got to
Let's
do it
see.
something more
How about
dramatic
you been
now.
working out that orange
Who
theory? You got to hit
they're
that thing
going to pick.
with some power. There we go.
Thank you.
I
There
work
we
out.
go.
The two most important decisions are you have to have the right quarterback, and D'Amico comes from San Francisco.
So CJ Stroud, finger in the pickup, Will Anderson. Pretty.
You know they're going to get coached hard. Will Anderson told us on your show that, hey, look, Nick Saban, be coached by Nick Saban. He's prepared for anything they can throw at him in terms of expectations because the D-line will set the tone for D'Amico's defense. And this is the kind of guy.
Man, what a trade for the 3rd overall pick. All right, here we go, guys. The pick is in for the Texans. 2nd pick in a row. This is rare. You don't see a team usually trade up high and pick number 2 and number 3 alone. That's just crazy, guys. That is just crazy. All right, could be Jalen Carter. It could be Will Anderson. There is a pit decision here for the Texans.
The Arizona Cardinals have traded the 3rd pick to the Houston Texans.
All right.
With the 3rd pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Will Anderson Jr.
Will Anderson got picked. Wow. So there you have it. Will Anderson.
How dominating he can be. What do you think?
Wow, there's
Oh,
your
this is
highlights
superb.
on the screen
I can't
for
believe
you.
I'm saying this.
Will
I can't believe I'm saying
Anderson.
this about 2 franchises.
Crazy,
One,
crazy,
respect
crazy,
to the Cardinals
crazy,
for being
crazy,
like, no, we need to go
crazy,
get some
crazy,
groceries.
crazy,
We're in
crazy,
rehab. We need to
crazy,
rebuild.
crazy pick
Second of all,
for
this
the
is an amazing
Texans.
pick because you went and you got the
As
best
they
prospect on the
trade.
other side, arguably. We've talked about Jalen Carter, but I
Pick
think there's the case to be made
is
for Will
in.
Anderson as well. To be the most disruptive
Wow.
presence
Number 4.
at the most
The Colts are now on the
disruptive position
clock
on the defense.
as well.
This is 1A, 1B.
East is
It's
4,
superb.
253
I
pounds.
mean, like,
outside
what the Texans
linebacker
just did
from
two cool
Alabama. His
things in a
NFL
row.
comparison
Pop
on
the
this
champagne.
is Von
Man,
Miller.
that's
And
tough for
honestly,
them to
when
do
you
too
look
because
at
they don't
his
do a whole lot
highlights
right.
on the screen
Yeah,
there
You
for
just got
you,
the quarterback that you need. There's 2 things right that you need in
very
the
much
NFL.
like Von
in
Miller.
today's game. You need a quarterback.
And
You need somebody that can go get the quarterback. That guy
this
is
is
going
a
to go get the
very
quarterback.
big
I'm gonna tell you what else I
decision
love
here.
about it.
Crazy job.
You look
crazy
at this
pick,
team's secondary
crazy
and what
trade
they did last year in the draft.
for the
Derek
Houston
Stingley
Texans.
Jr., also Jalen Petrie.
All right, so let's
you
take a
bring
look.
over Jimmy Ward, who was with
Here's
D'Amico
a minute
Ryans from San
on his
Francisco. Now you try to shore up that
strength
front
from Mel
line.
Kiper.
So now those guys we know go hand in hand. The pass rush goes with the guys that defend the pass catchers.
Yep.
Right? So now you can, get that defensive line better.
Phil, what do you got for us on the trade?
You had it already. So the Texans have traded pick 12, pick 33, so the second pick of the second round, a 2024 first round pick, and a 2024 third round pick. Talk about a massive freight. I mean, that is a ton of draft capital. Haven't figured out yet whether that's Cleveland's 2024 first round pick or Houston's 2024 first round pick. If it's Cleveland, you would project it to be a little bit weaker, as in like more give up-able, if that is a term. But this is a
Man, this
massive
is a pretty
price
interesting
for Houston
pick.
to pay, but it suggests that this is an organization that has not only been in the bottom for the
Pretty
past few seasons,
interesting
but they're
pick. Let's go. Let's hear the chat. I have a chat, a viewer on Twitch. Let's hear the chat. Let's go. Crazy pick. Will Anderson Jr. going on the board. 5 minutes left for, there's Dutchtown High School watch party. Will Anderson Jr.'s alma mater. So they have their teachers and, you know, all of that going on. So a very crazy, I never really expected that. My guy said that.
The kind of things they ask their defensive line to do, and every effort they ask them to put forward is extraordinary. And that's why it's going to take an extraordinary individual to turn this around. All right, I think we have more news here as we're ready off to a whopping start. Adam Schefter, welcome to us. This close coming up at number 4. And season has been all about getting the quarterback. Now keep in mind the quarterback is there, and there's Jalen Hurts. Who did he bring the best ever? Jalen Hurts. So
Woo! All right, so the Colts, will they pick? They cannot pick C.J. Stroud. Who will they pick? Will they pick Jalen Carter? Will they pick Bijan Robinson? They might. They have Jonathan Taylor, so they might pick up Tyree Wilson from Texas Tech. There's a lot of decisions they could pick here. Devon Witherspoon, they might need some deep. They might want some secondary help. I don't know what they will pick here, guys. This is a pretty unexpected pick.
Congratulations.
The Texans are the third team in the conference out there with a 2 pick in top 3 overall. Washington in 2000, the Colts in 1992 for the others. They take C.J. Stroud at 2 and Will Anderson at 3. Quickly, Mel, as we heard Adam Schefter describing what we thought the Colts might be looking for here. Shane Steichen comparing a quarterback to Jalen Hurts. One would think that might suit Anthony Richardson before. One would think Will Levis. Something that right now you should see. Against everyone like that, most ever by a rookie in that football like Jalen Hurts, he rushed the touchdown, he goes ever by an NFL quarterback. Steichen is one of the top guys with the arm. He's one with the guys who are trying to say Jalen Hurts. They have tried so many different ways in Indianapolis with veterans, and it just hasn't happened for them.
Yeah, it's time for Chris Brown to go out, rip the Band-Aid off, go out and get your quarterback, and change that. The ability for the quarterback to use their legs. It seems like we're going to go Anthony Richardson here.
He's just too good of an athlete. He's just too good of a thrower. Just watch the Texas A&M game from last year. You'll see everything that would make Indianapolis want to take this young man right here. One would assume we're about to see the future of quarterback.
All right, guys.
In this draft, at this moment, we've seen 2 quarterbacks go off the board.
Here we go. Here we go. Here comes Roger Goodell. Here we go.
With the 4th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Anthony Richardson, quarterback, Florida.
What? Anthony Richardson goes. Okay. This is a shocking pick. Honestly, a shocking match. I never expected them to go after Richardson. This is crazy. Crazy pick. Crazy decision by
this is such an
Colts.
adventure. Let's put it that
So
way. This
the
is
new
going to
one
be
from
such
Matt
an
Ryan
adventure because
to
Anthony Richardson's
from
floor
Florida. His
can be very
comparison
low,
is
as we
Josh
saw
Allen.
in this past
So,
season.
I mean,
The
he does have a
ceiling
pretty
does
good
not
gunslinger.
exist for what he is capable of physically.
I
And
mean-
in terms of, like, is he a quarterback? Like, is he a pro quarterback? His desire to stay in the pocket, he left so much on the table in terms of potential production by staying in the pocket. He was not a run-first guy. I know that might be a misconception among those who just turned up to scout him for the draft. Not at all. A pass-first dude despite all of the gifts that he has.
And HD, you pointed out the staff that is in place there in Indianapolis. When I spoke with Florida's offensive coordinator, Rob Sale, he literally told me, hey, the best spot for
guys.
him is going to be a place where he could develop in a similar way to a Jalen Hurts. So as long as he gets that, he's going to be in business, and clearly this is the right spot for him.
Man,
There's
this is
portion of his body of work that I think we just have to acknowledge. 13 games.
This is
That's what we have.
crazy.
So for everybody that says he needs to sit to the
This draft is crazy, guys. This draft is crazy.
But how can a guy with 6'4", runs 440, not be the number one pick? Talk about the 13 starts. There are accuracy issues. He has
Man.
that when he can put the football down the field. And talking to the coaches down in Florida, they simply said he hasn't played enough football. He hasn't seen enough schematically from the defensive side of the ball. The more he plays, the better he's going to get.
So Richardson, fourth pick.
To continue putting him out there on the field. They give me New York with Zach Wilson. Well, they have with Anthony Richardson. They don't have to put him out there on the field right away. You can go ahead and play guard and hit you one. You need to take care of this the right way. You need to take care of him the right way. He reminds me so much of Jonathan McNabb.
So the Seahawks are on board. 2023 draft of Harrison, Richardson, and Donovan McNabb. Elite mobility here. Elite mobility for Richardson. Pretty good yeah, when you look at his highlights, they are pretty good mobility. So there's that. And then the comparison, they're showing it on the screen. he has good mobility too. So all right, he also has great arm strength. When you look at his stuff, he when he's on the run, he can throw it to the back of the end zone from like 20, 30 yards out. That's pretty good. Pretty good job. Here,
his completion percentage. This is a perfect pick for them. I think he's a stack in somewhere choosing for Anthony Richardson.
Anthony, in the lead up to the draft, we talked about visualizing what this night would be like. We saw you come to tears as you were about to hug the commissioner. What was going through your mind?
The journey starts now. I finally got picked up by a team. I know where I'm going. So I have Coach Mason for embracing me, but we got to work, and it just all hit me at once.
And so much about this night is thanking those who helped shape the journey. And there's an image tattooed on your right arm. Tell everybody what Javon Lane means to you.
First I want to thank God. He didn't want me to help me get to this point. Help me get to this spot right here.
So the Seahawks definitely don't need any wide receivers. They don't need any running backs. They don't need any quarterbacks. So obviously they are going to go with they're obviously going to go with a defensive player. So they can go for Jalen Carter. They could go for Tyree Wilson. They could go for Devon Witherspoon. They also have Christian Gonzalez. They might need some offensive line help. So they could go for Peter Skoronsky. But I'll be right back, guys. I'll be right back.
Save time and money with Progressive's Home Quote Explorer. What you do afterwards is up to you.
Get the first Auto Man.
That's actually really cool. I'm getting that. Ottoman, report to on your legs. Ottoman! Ottoman! No! Ottoman! Back to your legs! Come on! Some like to get there first. Ottoman, now! We like to get it right. Reserve your Ram 1500 Rev today. It's the electric truck designed to get truck stuff right. DirecTV is the leader in sports, but Jeff doesn't have to.
Right here for Anthony Richardson, defining traits: elite athleticism, accuracy, footwork, lack of experience as potential concerns. His projection is a home run swing with MVP upside. And his comparison on this is Cam Newton, but on this is Josh Allen. So. Alrighty.
To the 2023 NFL Draft, presented by.
Alright, so on this, the top positions: edge, inside, outside, inside linebacker, cornerback, and wide receiver. So they can make up a wide receiver. Who knows?
Over the course of the last few weeks. We'll have to find out. I see the commissioner making this play. Number 5, Seattle. Here's Connor Goodell.
All right, here we go.
With the fifth pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Devin Witherspoon.
Ooh, Witherspoon. Pretty interesting pick.
Oh, there he is. He's a consensus All-American from Pensacola, Florida. Won the award as the best defensive back in the Big Ten last year. Here's my favorite statistic in press coverage.
Pretty interesting pick.
-4 yards. And his former coach, Lewis Smith, said pound for pound he was the toughest guy on the team.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting pick here
This guy is a
for
heat-seeking missile tackler. How many
Seahawks.
cornerbacks do we describe? Their
I
tackling is the first
honestly
trait
thought about
that
this
comes to mind.
maybe
Devin
before.
Witherspoon is one of the
I was saying
exceptions to
either
the rule. This guy
Jalen
is
Carter,
an
Tyree
absolute
Wilson.
stud. He is going to come in and set a tone for the secondary that will bring back. We were just talking about some Legion of Boom memories. This is Legion
Hey,
of
this
Boom
guy, he's a very
added to
good
that Seattle
elite.
I only have one
Secondary
comment,
player.
and it's this. The worst thing I've seen in any scouting
That's
report
cornerback,
about
Latimer,
this dude is
Mizzou
too
player.
aggressive.
There's no such
Yeah, it's
thing
very
when
good
it comes to the
press
defensive
It's
side of the ball.
too violent.
I mean, you look at Seattle and you talk about it, HD, about Pete Carroll wanting to reset what he might have had with defensive
Ball
line.
skills. He also
Remember
really good
Richard
ball
Sherman?
skills.
Remember the Legion of Boom? Witherspoon has that kind of an edge. This is a guy who was a no-star prospect coming out of school. He got a scholarship in August after his
And also
senior year
runs
at
for it.
Illinois. He was the only freshman to start that season. This is the dude who
The run support's pretty good. Opposing speed. So the Lions are now on the clock. So Pretty interesting pick. His comparison is Jair Alexander, Packers quarterback. Pretty interesting. Okay. Ooh. Alright, so Devon Witherspoon, a pretty good cornerback. And there's an ad. Alright, I'll be right back.
Sunday Ticket. Just a screen you can watch NFL Sunday Ticket without putting a satellite dish up. Just a screen you can watch your favorite teams out of Market Sunday.
Teamwork, people skills, and driving moments.
All right.
That guy, that one, holy moly, all these guys. This Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year sure does. I mean, just look at him. This one here, we got a big pile over here. Yeehaw, Cowboys do. The Offensive Player of the Year does. Super Bowl champions do. Boom! It's a circapalooza. Turns out 80% of NFL players have a Sleep Number smart bed to help improve their energy and recovery. It's game-changing sleep, only from Sleep Number.
Doesn't get any better than this. Yeah. Be a shame if it rained, though. And that's why I brought these. See? Now they're protected. Cheers to that. I'm going to drink this now. There's no idea to bring them. Yeah, I didn't think it through.
A perfectly poached egg, English muffin, shredded beef, and roasted peppers. Creamy hollandaise. New Eggs Benedicts in 4 delicious flavors. Only for my holiday. Download the app and order free food with every order.
All right, so I guess there's been a big breakthrough here. The Lions have traded the pick to the Cardinals. Cardinals, remember, traded up with the Texans. But now, who will Houston go for? Who will Arizona go for here? Let's wait for Adam Schefter to break the news here before I go any more depth.
Another trade, the Arizona Cardinals have moved up to 6. So to recap, Arizona started at 3, traded to 12, and now is traded back up to 6 while getting an extra one next year from Houston. And they wanted to protect Kyler Murray and make sure that he is a top priority. I will not be surprised.
So trade alert. So defensive tackle here. So there's a chance they could get an edge, a D lineman. They also need a cornerback. Who could they pick? They could pick up Tyree Wilson, Jalen Carter, Christian Gonzalez. There's a lot of good players on the board. Also Lucas Van Ness. So they're trading. They're getting the 12th overall pick and the second round pick, number 34.
that was sacked 46 times. They have a starting quarterback coming off an ACL.
Okay.
It's paramount that they get an offensive line swinging. They have to start somewhere. This is the worst roster in the National Football League. If you're going to start somewhere, start at left tackle, protecting your quarterback coming off.
All right, so there's going to be a chance they might get a offensive lineman. So they could try to pick up Peter Skoronski, Paris Johnson Jr., Broderick Jones, Paris Johnson. There's a lot of good players on the board, offensive line here.
The Detroit Lions have traded the 6th pick to the Arizona Cardinals. With the 6th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Paris Johnson Jr.
All right, Paris Johnson Jr. going. Going to Arizona. Paris Johnson Jr. Okay, pretty interesting here.
On the fly just because he wanted the challenge.
Clearly, all you need to know about Paris Johnson. I mean, y'all saw the glamour shots. He had his chest out. That is a confident, big man. He's going to be able to protect Kyler Murray. I don't know anything else about offensive line play.
Big guys need loving too. Like we like the shiny Ferrari toys and all this, but let's not forget about the monster trucks that make everything go. But comes to Paris Johnson, quick feet, lateral movement, stones people on the pass rush game in the pass set game, sustains blocks in the run game. Really looking forward to him being in Arizona.
I love getting the groceries. This is getting the groceries, right? Need some beef, need some bread. Let's put it on the line, Paris Johnson. And by the way, super smart on top of that, what you want from your anchor in the offensive line. Like, big guys deserve love. They deserve love for the intellect as well, okay? As well as being big as a house.
Yeah, big dude. You talk about being smart. He's versatile. Played guard earlier at Ohio State. Some of the negatives, they say he gets a little heavy on his outside foot in his pass set, which in the NFL could be disaster if you're another 5'9" quarterback. But like you said, Kyler Murray's coming off an injury. This is your guy. You're committed to him. You need to protect him now more than ever. You do that by going to get
Let me throw a little something out there. Because if the Arizona Cardinals end up with the 1st or 2nd overall draft pick in 2024, they now have a decision to make.
So a good pick for the
they want to reset things
Cardinals
with a quarterback being drafted.
And the Raiders are on the
Caleb
clock.
Williams or Drake May.
Yeah, I mean,
this is a foundational piece for them, no matter who they have quarterback. That makes sense. And I got to we'll call him the anonymous insider, big guy breakdown. Big boy told me that Paris Johnson, and this is the notes, incredibly gifted athlete. Motor finish is there. OSU guy, technique's raw, but does so what naturally, does so many things well. Body angles, change of direction are special. That lets too many guys get into his chest. The only feedback that was negative on it. So
let him in the chest.
So I'd say, yeah. I mean, it's funny. You don't want to be like you don't want to spoil people's excitement when they take a player 6th overall. But the good is everything you guys have outlined. I mean, Paris Johnson came into Ohio State with a ton.
Okay, so anyways, he is taking Paris Johnson Jr., offensive tackle, out of Ohio State to the Arizona Cardinals after that bid trade. Of course, Detroit traded with Arizona. Detroit got that pick from the Rams when they traded away Matthew Stafford, and now they traded to the Cardinals, who they picked up a great left tackle for the team who helped play with. He helped block Kyler Murray in college. He helped block Justin Fields. He helped block them both. So pretty good left tackle for the Cardinals. The Cardinals, yeah. All right, so Mel's best available. You have Jalen Carter at number 1, Will Levis at number 2, Bajan Robinson at number 3. So those are your top 3 Mel Kiper's best available on the board. So I mean, yeah, I could see the Raiders maybe picking up Will Levis. I can maybe see them picking up John Robinson. They could also try to pick up Jalen Carter, the defensive player. They do have Jimmy Garoppolo now as their quarterback. So while you do have Christian Gonzalez as well, cornerback for Oregon. So there is a lot of good options here for Las Vegas. Let's hear you guys. Let's hear chat. How do you feel? Who should they pick? Who should Las Vegas pick here? Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Who should they pick? They're still on the clock here. All right, the pick is in now. Pick is in, and the pick is in here at Union Station. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right, guys. Let's go. Set 4. We are set for some NFL draft tonight. Almost entering the 1 hour mark of the stream. This stream should last for a while. We are only on pick number 7. We're about an hour in. Almost an hour in. Only at pick number 7. So we should be here going on until probably 11 o'clock, I'd say. Anyway, Las Vegas looking to get I think they should probably get some safety or secondary look here, looking at Christian Gonzalez. They can also pick up maybe a lineman like Jalen Carter or Tyree Wilson. The Raiders' defense has been terrible lately.
Now it just hasn't worked out in many cases. No, it hasn't. And here's it's a tough debate because we talk about Jalen Carter's talent, but the character concern. And this is an organization I think has somebody that's completely clean through the process. Christian Gonzalez at 4 interceptions. He has 0 Colorado. So he showed the ball skills this year.
All right, so
after we're done with this show at midnight, and I'm going to order the
jersey for
whoever's
Carr.
We believe you.
If it's going to be there, I will show you the receipts. Harry,
he's looking at me because see, we have 3 hours of radio tomorrow.
They could just pick up a tight end. They could try to pick up.
I've said several times on radio that I don't really. No offense.
The Dalton Tate. He's around that area from Utah.
At this stage, are you really saying that Will Levis is the better option over Jimmy Garoppolo?
I say,
like, is there enough upside there to say that
you need 9 starters on the defensive side of the ball? Fix your defense. That's my.
I'll talk through why I would be. We'll see what the pick is. And I'll
Tyree Wilson going to Las Vegas.
That's Bennett.
Just let me. Oh, it's you.
Yes.
So this is interesting.
Tyree
Wilson out of Texas Tech.
Hey, Wilson all day.
The best player in the draft, right?
Tyree Wilson is the best player in the history of the NFL draft. Not only that, Tyree Wilson came on our show. I told Tyree that he should become a Raider.
Boy.
He didn't like the fact that I didn't have him rated number 1 in the draft, but Tyree Wilson.
Well, I love this pick for the Raiders because they're getting a guy that I think is still raw. About 6'5", 6'6", 275 pounds to play
so,
3 technique,
pretty good pick
5
here.
technique, 9 technique. Whatever technique you want to put him in, he can be in a 3-point stance, 2-point stance,
or
4-point stance. I just think one of few players that has played outside linebacker,
Really good player with
and
him.
defensive tackle. He's going to be a monster. I think the coaching, whoever coaches him up, they have tremendous upside, and he can be a game wrecker. He could be a game wrecker.
Octopus. Absolute octopus of a player. Just armed for days.
Yeah, this is an interesting story. First of all, Texas Tech having a defensive player going into top 7, although it does beg the question. Is he a Texas Tech guy or is he a Texas A&M guy? He started his career at Texas A&M, finishes up at Texas Tech. Tyree Wilson, though, if we were to just do a lineup of every player in this year's draft, Anthony Richardson would be the offensive Zeus, and this would be the defensive Zeus. This dude is body beautiful. He's a freak. He's everything you're...
46% of their second half rating, they had to get a compliment.
All right, so Tyree Wilson.
How we improve the pass defense, we're not going to do it in the back end. We're going to do it up front and affect the quarterback. I'll tell you what, I look forward to seeing him out the pass rush something out in Vegas this summer. Like I said, he will be there. Mac will have him there.
And the Atlanta Falcons are on the clock.
Out there and just clip the running back leg as he's going by him, going, see, that's the difference with him. He's physically so gifted that he doesn't have to beat him. When it does become
So the Falcons do have 5 minutes left on the clock.
if he's healthy, he could be absolutely hell on wheels, man. He's really good. Yeah. Now, it was also nice if you allowed to borrow your suit for the evening. Don't take me out before that. Right off his feet like he was a small child. All right, there are big names still on the board. Will the quarterback Will Levis hear his name called shortly? Here Jalen Carter, Mel Kiper's #1 player, still on the board.
All right, so we'll be right back here. All right, guys, we are back.
Interesting piece. Let me bring in my expert.
So many scratches.
Those are from my car keys.
Such a rich history. This won't do well at auction, but at AT&T, it's worth a brand new Samsung Galaxy.
Oh, God.
Wait, really? What about this?
AT&T's deal is that everyone gets a free new Samsung Galaxy S23 when the Galaxy phone's rated. Any year, any condition.
Falcons pick is in.
The all-new Prius. Toyota. Let's go places.
Waco affected all of us. It affected the entire country. The government refuses to take responsibility for its actions. David Koresh.
He was never going to surrender.
Somebody has to fight back.
They talk about a holy war that's coming.
You realize who we are?
I think we helped create the monster we're trying to stop.
Okay.
Only on Showtime, and now stream Showtime on Paramount Plus. It's your dagger. We'll help get that fixed. Then your oven issues, done. Best part about opening front door is the video to get this to the done, yeah. Video on, chat like crazy. Experts on shirts. Man, an app to fix my oven. Yep, an app to fix your oven. That's correct.
Introducing FreshDirect. Download today to video chat expert. NFL Plus brings you the draft like never before with exclusive content. Plus expert analysis. He can do it all. And behind the scenes access all offseason.
Just trying to build that consistency.
NFL Plus. Get it all for $4.99 this offseason.
Welcome back to Kansas City, where the Atlanta Falcons pick is
Line. Bum, bum, bum. Good. So good. So good. So good. It's line. Bum, bum, bum. Good. Oh, good. So good. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, 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 bum. Carolina. Here comes the commissioner, Roger Goodell. This is another Make-A-Wish kid. Nope. Here we go.
For the Atlanta Falcons pick, I'm joined by Chris and Shane from Big Brothers Big Sisters of Kansas City. Chris and Shane are a true testament to the power of mentorship. The NFL and its teams work closely with Big Brothers Big Sisters of America as part of our work on social justice through our initiative Inspire Change. The Falcons are big-time supporters of the organization, and they're thrilled to have Chris and Shane making their pick. Okay, guys, take it away.
With the 8th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Bijan Robinson.
So Bijan Robinson comes off the board to Atlanta.
Bijan Robinson is spectacular. Last year, almost 1,600 yards, 18
Wow.
unanimous All-American, won the Doug Walker Award. Also caught 60 balls in his 3 seasons, so he brings that too. He's from Tucson, Arizona now, where he was a 2-time state player of the year. Lewis, it is Bijan Robinson, close to Atlanta.
Yeah, look, he's the total package now. He has got instincts, vision, strength, jump cut ability.
This guy, the player that Spencer made the case as being the best player in this entire draft. Bijan Robinson is unquestionably the best running back prospect in Saquon Barkley. He might be better than that. For as gifted as he is as a runner, he's equally capable as a pass catcher. You're going to see it right now. He's the best player on their offense right away. This is the ideal landing spot for him. It's probably the fittest backfield in the NFL. I know they had Tyler Algier for 1,000 yards last year. Algier is 3.5, 4 yards in a cloud of dust. This is a total game changer for this offense, even if it's a, in some ways, non-justifiable.
Before you go in, oh boy,
Could tell you all about it.
Yep. Which speaks to the fact that maybe the Eagles wanted Bijan and he's not there. He was your favorite player in the draft.
Yeah, by far. And he fits into what Atlanta does. I'm in the curious position of saying that Harry and HD and every other Atlanta Falcons fan has a legitimate reason for hope. It feels weird coming out of my mouth. But y'all can be happy with this because he makes everyone better on offense. Everyone better.
And I think the one thing that I like about Bijan Robinson, I think the biggest criticism of his game is that he gets bounce happy in the backfield. And to me, the only reason he's like that is because he can actually make plays, because he does get bounce happy, because he has that playmaking ability.
All right, Schefter.
I mean, he really is a full package. He has vision, he has elusiveness, he has power, he can do it in the run game, in the pass game. You have Arthur Smith, who got this coaching job by building an offense.
Big trade. All right, big trade. All right, so
it took pressure off.
So the Bears receive some picks while the Eagles move up to number 9 overall. They made the Super Bowl, and now they are drafting in the top 10. Well, they're already drafting 10th, but they trade up from 10 to 9. And this is a big pick, big trade.
If the Eagles go back and try to recreate the tandem that was at Georgia Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, Mel.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to Atlanta. This Bijan Robinson, I'm not gonna let that go. We're going back in the first round, guys. Like the heck, hey, this is a running back. Tyler Algier, BYU running back, had a really nice year running the football for Atlanta. They drafted Kyle Pitts. They drafted Trey Clarkson. Algier had a good back. This defense still has major issues. I can think pick because against Derrick Henry, Marcus Smith, I get that. Is it a luxury thing?
All right, so a big trade alert. Eagles trade up with Chicago. Now this is a big trade. The Eagles pick is in.
Nobody ran the football in the National Football League more than Atlanta. So yeah, Algiers had a good season, but you can get a back like Bijan Robinson, who I think is a combination between Saquon Barkley and Christian McCaffrey, because Steve Sarkisian said he's the best receiver on the team.
So big trade alert there.
I think we forget just how.
Who could they pick here? Who could the Eagles be picking? Well, I think they have a good. They might need some defensive players. They might need their offensive line looks pretty good. I think their tight ends are good. Honestly, they might get Jackson Smith and Njigba. That might be an option for them. He's compared to CeeDee Lamb and 6'1", 196 pounds. That'd be pretty nice.
It would be perfect to absorb a guy like Jalen Carter. Fletcher Cox. Remember that name too. Guy Subway's taking us down to the stage in Susie.
Here we go. Stage down. Player interview.
Comes through. How does this all tie back to your granddad, Cleo?
Oh man, well, first of all, I just want to say give my regards. I'm blessed to be here with everybody and give me the gift to be out here. But my grandma, he's so ecstatic right now, and just doing it with him and being a part with him, it's so incredible, so amazing. But yeah, we can celebrate it with him and see what he says.
You've already been doing community work in Austin. What should the Atlanta community know about what they're getting in Bijan Robinson?
Oh, I mean, they're just getting such a positive guy, that obviously loves football, but wants to help the city, just grow even more than it already is, and for getting a lot of artists out there for everybody, and I'm gonna bring my faith and my positivity, my happiness and smile to every kid, every teenager, every adult, everybody out there. So I hope they accept me for me, and it's gonna be a great time.
Welcome to the NFL.
Thank you.
Susie, thank you, Lewis. Yeah, you're just talking about Philadelphia.
All right, pick is in for the Eagles, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and guess it. It'll be Christian Gonzalez. So Eagles-Bears trade. Eagles receive 9th overall pick. Bears receive 10th overall pick and the 2024 4th round pick for this draft. So first the Bears trade with the Panthers, and now they trade with the Eagles, another down. So they trade 9 down overall. So going from number 1 to number 10. Wow, crazy. I wonder what they're trying to get. I don't get it, but anyway, here we go. The Eagles are about to pick, and the 9th overall when they were in the Super Bowl. Honestly, I'm going to make a guess. It will be Christian Gonzalez or Jalen Carter. Yeah, they could get Peter Stronsey. That could be an option here. Let's go and take a look.
The Chicago Bears have traded the 9th pick to the Philadelphia Eagles. With the 9th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Jalen Carter.
Jalen Carter goes to the Eagles.
His story is easy. 6 sacks, 103 tackles, caught a touchdown, 3 sensational seasons in Georgia. A former 5-star recruit out of Apopka, Florida. But as we discussed earlier,
I've selected Jalen Carter. Now, before we say anything, I want people to understand why Jalen Carter has fallen in the draft. Jalen Carter was sentenced to 12 months probation after pleading no contest to misdemeanor charges of reckless driving and racing. Additionally,
Jalen Carter
was fined $1,000, must
There's in his
perform
Fletcher
80
Cox.
hours of community service as
He's
well
on
as
the
attend a
Eagles.
state-approved
So that's crazy.
driving course. The charges stem from a January 15th
So
single-car
he was
accident
present
that
at
killed
the
Georgia
car
recruiting
crash
staffer
that
Chandler
killed two
LaCroix
people in
and
Athens.
offensive
He
lineman
left Combine
Devin
to turn
Willis.
himself
Police
in on
allege
two
that Carter was driving at
misdemeanor
speeds of
charges.
104 miles per
That
hour
is
while
what happened,
racing
and he
LaCroix,
was
who
cleared,
crashed into two
but
power poles and several
he
trees.
is
LaCroix
on
was
probation, I
intoxicated
think.
at the
So
time of the
that's
crash,
a
but
big
police said
deal. The Eagles
Carter
draft
showed
him.
no
It
signs
definitely
that he
drops
had
his
been
grade
drinking.
value
So
to
that
number
is it off the
9. But
field
the Bears
portion of
have
this that we
made
have
their pick.
addressed several
Pick is
times on
in
the
for
show
them.
in regards to why Jalen Carter was not selected higher in this year's draft. Gentlemen, that with the less important in many ways, but the other issue of his pro day was not what many people expected. He came in a little overweight. Some said he did not look to be in the best shape of his life. It feels like things went off the rails after the football season ended.
I think now he's in a situation where he's going to be able to have people around him to help guide him. And let's be honest, we all were 21.
Yep.
Not saying that we all made the same mistakes, but we've all
So Jalen Carter. That's crazy.
You know, when I studied this player, to me, Ndamukong Suh jumped out on tape, but he's a twitched-up version. A guy that can rush the passer inside out. And how about the irony? He went to Poplar High School in Orlando, Florida.
It's a crazy job here in this draft so far. And the number 10 pick is in.
It means something to him. So whatever happened off the field, let's hope the organization feels we talk about the structure. They can take care of this young man because he's got that type of potential. He can play with power. He can play with speed. He dominated when he won.
Oh my God, yo.
You got to be able to do a snap in and snap out. He's about 15 pounds too heavy. He's got to get in better shape. If he shows up like the Jalen Carter when Jordan Davis was at Georgia, the guy that was the alpha, the guy that led the room, the guy that's now in Philadelphia, they pair those two back together. Can he be a governance player? He'll be outstanding. All right.
Okay. It's very interesting here.
Jalen, you're arguably the most talented player on the best team.
Very
in the country,
interesting.
But this process felt unpredictable. How would you describe just the range of emotions that you've gone through over the last few months?
I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. I just want to thank God. I want to thank my mom, thank my family for being out here for me and supporting me. And, you know, it's time to work. The Eagles got the best player in the job. I'm for sure.
The Eagles guys got on the phone with you today. What did you tell them?
And I told them they got the best player in the job. And, you know, day one, when I get there, it's time to work. And so they win the Super Bowl.
And you've got former teammates there already. What does that mean to you?
That means a lot. Jordan Davis and Kobe Dean, you know, I'm going to come there and talk to them guys for the win.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, let's show you, Lewis, as we get your thoughts here on Jalen Carter. Let's show you just how special the performance from this young man was.
All right, let's look at his highlights here.
When you talk about just look at form shift right there.
Great job. Oh my gosh.
And he's just throwing them around. And then look at this bull rush.
Man, he is powerful.
Push pull. You push him, you get him off balance and jerk him, throw him on the ground. He's got the arm over. He can get on an edge now. He can take.
Man, he is powerful. You can come in if you want.
And getting pressure on the quarterback. But I tell you what, between him and Jordan Davis now in Philadelphia, when you think of that combination, I can tell you that Brandon Graham and
So the Bears pick is in with the Titans on the clock. The pick has not been announced yet.
They are monsters across the D-line because it's just highlight after highlight with this guy, folks. It's hot. I mean, that right there at 315 pounds is effortless.
And for a team that led the National Football League in sacks, 70 sacks,
This is a position of strength. So they take a strength and they add to it. And now they have the ability to be one of the most physical units, not only offensively, but defensively. I love the pick for the Philadelphia Eagles. And this young man has got to go in and approach the game like a If he does that, the sky's the limit.
Just to reiterate, the last 2 times this happened, Warren Sapp, number 3 on my board, dropped to a 12. Might try to be a great player. Laramie comes in number 1 on the board, dropped to 13, drops the extra player. Jalen Carter, number 1 on the board, drops to 9 to see if he's 3 in a row to drop because the Bears concerned the draft, and he's still a good player.
All right, so who could the Bears be getting? They could be getting a defensive player. They could be getting Will Levis. They do have Justin Fields, so there is that. They could be getting good secondary and Christian Gonzalez. We'll have to see as the pick is in. Here we go.
In the 2023 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Darnell Wright, offensive tackle, Tennessee.
So Darnell Wright, an offensive lineman from the University of Tennessee. So this is a pretty shocking pick. So Darnell Wright, very shocking. Very shocking.
He shut
First
down.
Always
You got to get out of the way. Yeah.
300 lists.
He just crushed him.
So
Yeah,
very
that
crazy,
Tennessee
very
Alabama,
crazy here.
there's so many players from that game, obviously, that we're going to see get called
All
on
right, the
tonight.
Titans pick is already in within like 10
He was
seconds.
absolutely
Okay.
anchor in. Mind
Anyway,
you, that is the biggest game in Tennessee football history the past 15 years. That one right there. Like this has been a program that in down, and there is absolutely no way that they have the season that they have last year. Hendon Hooker becomes a player that everybody knows nationally. Jalen Hyatt, a receiver that everybody knows nationally without that man.
Yeah, you want the quiet secret as to why Tennessee was able to score at will and at any point in any game that season. This dude's easily half of it. And just powerful, just immovable, knew his assignments, in and out, came on, right? Which, you know, there are people of varying minds as to whether you want to draft somebody who, you know, had really one year
yeah, that's
of
good.
outstanding production.
Look at his 40-yard dash.
Got better.
40-yard dash.
I'm always going to draft a dude named Darnell out of Tennessee. If he's, you know, like a top 25 dude, his name's Darnell and he's huge, I'll take him.
Give him to me.
Yeah.
Look, this is a great pick. I think when you talk about the term controlled violence,
Pretty good job. I don't know, right?
Right is right, and he's a nasty player, and when he can, he picks his spots brilliantly, which is what you tackle. Things get physical, have a technique, but when you can, you inflict pain, and that's what he does.
His offensive line is starting to take shape now.
There you go.
So Darnell Wright plays likely opposite of Braxton Jones. 5th-round pick out of Southern Utah last year. Played really well for Chicago. Obviously, besides Justin Fields, not a whole lot went right last year along the offensive line. Their general manager, Ryan Poles, was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, played at BC, was on the same team as Matt Ryan, popped his Achilles during his final game against Notre Dame, ends up going undrafted, decided to go the scouting route rather than continue with his playing career. He's going to build an offensive line. They've added Nate Davis in free agency. They obviously already have Braxton Jones. Now they have Darnell Wright. Like, this offensive line starts to take some real shape here in Chicago, and Justin Fields is an unbelievable runner. I also think there's a chance that the Bears are probably saying to themselves, we can't have him running as much as he did last year because sometimes he was running for his life.
I mean, as some of us have made a little money on rushing over every week, I'd like for that to keep happening. Darnell Wright, by the way, I'll go to our super anonymous big boy.
there.
Also, the Bears have done, I think, really sneaky good business through this whole offseason. They had a ton of money to spend. They realized that this was their opportunity to try and, I don't want to say Philadelphia in it, but they needed to put more talent around Justin Fields, right?
DJ Moore. They got DJ Moore. They traded for Chase Claypool last year during the offseason as well. You got to remember, they did draft Velus Jones from Tennessee, a teammate of Darnell Wright. So everything's starting to come together more so for Justin Fields. I want to see what the Bears are going to do the rest of the draft, but you got an offensive lineman, and you needed an offensive lineman.
Yeah, and I think there's just this element for the Chicago of being intentional. Well, you can have a lot of money, and you can have the first pick in the draft, but you still have to have a long-term business plan on what you're trying to build, right? Trading out of that first overall pick in the draft gave them the wide receiver they wanted. They didn't need a quarterback. They picked up that they could build with. They spent their money wisely, and now they get a solid draft pick that everybody's really high. Like, this feels like one of those all seasons where everything's been really simple and easy for Chicago in all the right ways. The Titans, by the way, pick is in. Titans, another team you know well. You played there. You and I both have a lot of experience around Nashville. You played for the Titans? I did, yeah. I played for the Titans, yeah. No, I usually just talked a lot of trash talk on Lower Broadway.
Not hiding anything. Not hiding anything.
I still love you.
Yeah, you're 6'1". All right, so best available, Will Levis. Will Levis going to be the new quarterback for the Tennessee Titans?
Well, there's three ways they can go here. They can go Will Levis, they can go offensive lineman. And the reason why I say offensive line is because they lost Ben Jones, their starting center. Also, Taylor Lewan is going to retire from football. Offensive line, they can go there. Wide receiver, the deficiency there was huge, especially after they traded away A.J. Brown. But they also can go corner. That's 4 spots I just mentioned. Christian Gonzalez is still on the board.
This is a team that, what are the Titans right now? They've got Ryan Tannehill still, so if that's their quarterback for next year, I don't think you have Ryan Tannehill as your starter.
So here we go.
Titans,
Titans,
right? I mean,
about to announce the pick.
He's certainly been serviceable. 2 years ago, the #1 seed in the AFC. Now, I can't figure it out. And they had to cut several veterans this offseason, not just Taylor Lewan, Bud Dupree, amongst others. And it's like, I can't decide if they're...
So...
They need to be inside, especially with the way that head coach Mike Vrabel wants to run the football.
Anyway, Tennessee, and I want to get maybe Will Levis, a good quarterback to maybe replace Ryan Tannehill. I know they did pick up a good quarterback last year.
And then released their leading receiver in Robert Woods. So they could use help in a lot of different places on that offense.
All right, pick this in.
And I do see the commissioner making his way here.
Here we go. I might want to get Dalton Kincaid tight end. Lucas Van Ness, defensive player. They've always been short on defenders. Here we go.
With the 11th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Peter Skoronski.
Peter Skoronski, offensive tackle. Okay. Okay, offensive tackle from Tennessee. That's crazy. Here we go.
See ya.
Like, what do I got to say about that? Like, but there is the picks. Peter Skoronski, Northwestern. He is the pick, and somebody obviously, again, we've talked a lot about high on boards, can play in a lot of different positions. So
Bob Skoronski.
Yeah, I think this is a guy that can go center, can go guard, can go tackle. His grandfather, Bob Skoronski, played for Vince Lombardi and those Super Bowl teams back in the day for Green Bay. So it's in the bloodline, Vince. You know how I feel about that.
And anybody that ever has if your second brother's cousin's mother's uncle played, he's like, huh? Family tree. I like that.
I'd say it doesn't matter, but it does.
It really does.
All right, we in on Skoronski?
I'm in on Skoronski. Smart player. Probably will end up in the interior, I think, because, hopefully a better spot for him, right? Definitely smarter to, be a center if he's got to be a center. Does occasionally, he's a smart player. Takes great angles.
The Lions pick is in.
But other than that, or nitpicking, this is a fantastic pick.
Yeah, it feels like there's 4 linemen that you can play week 1. Like, he's one of them. If you're gonna make this pick, he's got to be that guy. And I
think what's bothered most people going into the NFL, whether you can see which sport to reflect, which with an Eagles left tackle. So Skoronsky goes 11 to Tennessee. The Lions, after several trades, are now sitting at number 12, and Adam Schefter has more on Detroit. Schefter, Joe Green, the Lions went from 6 to number 12, and they now will be major players in this draft. They are scheduled to have 5 of the next 43 picks, and they're looking to add some playmakers on the offensive side of the running back, tight end. You remember last year they traded T.J. Hawkinson to Minnesota. At some point here, there'll be a tight end and a running back as well. We're also going to be without Jameson Williams, Lewis, for the first 6 games of the season from the suspension with the gambling, which is a devastating loss as they traded up to draft him a year ago, waited through the injury and his recovery from that. So we do look at a lot of different places on that offense.
Yeah, they could use more firepower. That's what I've seen a lot of teams. There's a lot of guys who are really versatile guys who can play the X, the Z, the slot. They can play the slot, they're split in. That's what I'm referring to. I mean, they have to pick up all of them. They still go with the corner, but they still use more firepower there in the secondary. They can still use pass front. I don't know if they feel as though anybody is worthy of that spot right here, but they have the whole board open to them right now. We're going to find out right now. Here's the commissioner.
Here we go.
With the 12th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Jahmyr Gibbs, running back, Alabama.
What? Jahmyr Gibbs?
That is a surprising name. This is the second running back off the board. We have not had a single running back go in the top 20 since 20.
Man.
And Saquon Barkley. Now we have 2 of them in the top 12 as the Lions take a running back here. Lewis, take a look.
Man, that's crazy.
I'm just telling you, when you pair him with DeAndre Swift and David Montgomery, who they already have on the roster, what do you think Dan Campbell's going to want to do this year? He'll want to run the football. Jahmyr Gibbs can do it all. Transfer from Georgia Tech. He has got home run speed, sub 4.4 speed. He can run inside and outside. And he can catch the ball out of the backfield. His comp, to me, obviously it's Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey.
Comparison for Jahmyr Gibbs. It's Alvin Kamara, best receiving back in this year's draft. Unbelievable in space. Has enough power, like not going to bowl you over like Derrick Henry will, but super fun. You're seeing him right now as a route runner. If you put 81 as opposed to 1 on his jersey, you could be convinced that it's a young Andrew Hawkins right here. Now, the Lions have now invested David Montgomery, 3 years, $18 million. DeAndre Swift sure feels like the kind of player whose time's coming to an end in Detroit.
And they lost Jamal Williams, who's now with the New Orleans Saints. But I actually know a guy that coached Jahmyr Gibbs and also Bijan Robinson, Tashard Choice. He's the running back coach at what? Tech. And Bijan's here, but Jahmyr Gibbs is right up here, right behind him. 2 phenomenal running backs, but Jahmyr Gibbs can do it on return, whether it's kick returns, punt returns, can be a pass catcher, can run the football, dynamic playmaker, runs routes like a, I won't say a poor man wide receiver, but he can run some routes.
He can get right. Like a slot. I would definitely say that. I mean, the way he changes direction, footwork, I mean, what he's able to do in the pass game, you talked about it. He's one of those players that I think actually fits better on the pro level because he's such a matchup nightmare. And when you get him in that, you see the choice route they put on there, like a linebacker's not going to be able to defend that kind of change in direction. He led the team in rushing, and he catches and run routes like a slot receiver.
Jerk route king. Jerk route king. Okay, he's going to make you look like a jerk when you put him one-on-one with the linebacker. Problem solver. Alabama, in case you didn't know, had a ton of issues on offense in terms of finding production. Every time they needed it, who did they go to? They went to Jahmyr Gibbs.
It is interesting. Let's at least acknowledge they had the 6th pick in the draft. They traded down to the 12th pick in the draft. So if you're a Lions fan, you came in thinking, man, we were on the cusp of the playoffs last year. We have the 6th pick in the draft. Was this like, are they playing chess at this point? Because it seems like trading down and then taking a running back means that they felt secure about the entirety of what they were trying to accomplish, right? Like, it's just, it feels a little weird for a trade down and then a running back.
That's a lot of technical skills, people skills, and lifelong skills. Learning on the job and off. That one and they always have.
For centuries, our kind has stayed hidden, but we've never faced anything like this.
Thursdays. Sounding good, friends?
Because your lives are forever entwined. Love Entwined, exclusively at CAD.
BK $6 your way deal for a limited time. It's a royal still. Burger, fries, and chicken fries all your way for a feast on a budget. Head to BK. Have it your way.
Jahmyr Gibbs was a big shot breaker. Remember, the XFL playoffs are this weekend. The Renegades, Roughnecks. Many of the Sea Dragons and the Defenders. Starting up Saturday, 7 Eastern on ESPN2. And Sea Dragons Defender Sunday, 3 Eastern on ESPN. The XFL Championship is May 13th at 8 Eastern in San Antonio, Texas.
We're back in Kansas City, and as you can see, the Green Bay Packers colors have taken over for the moment as the Packers.
There we go.
Their selection is at the pick is in. This is the 13th pick in the draft, which originally belonged to the Jets. And of course, Aaron Rodgers at that point belonged to the Packers. And in a size
So the Packers-Jets trade. The Packers received 13th overall pick. The Jets received Aaron Rodgers, a 15th overall pick, and a 5th round pick. Packers also received a conditional 2024 second round pick and a 6th round pick from this year. Pick is in. Who will they pick? Will they pick a safe secondary, or will they pick an offensive player? We'll see. Well, they might pick Dalton Kincaid.
With the 13th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select Lucas Van Ness.
Ooh.
So the Chicago area kid goes to Green Bay from Barrington, Illinois.
He's from Chicago. Oh. Man.
He was a defensive end. He was a defensive tackle, played up and down. Was a disruptor. 11 tackles, 6.5 sacks. Now the athletic numbers. 72 pounds. You see here, 4.58 grabs is great in the drills. I didn't see those athletic numbers on a consistent basis. Up on another year at Iowa would really helped him. Then he become.
He only has like 2 years of experience.
Green Bay Ed is their second lead.
There's Tom Grossi.
I'm a little whelmed. I'm a little whelmed.
And Lucas Van Ness. I will tell you, Todd McShay has said Lucas Van Ness' name probably about 100 times in the last 4 months. But that is perfect timing in that regard, because Todd McShay is going to join our broadcast here in a moment. The Jonas Brothers just joined the ABC telecast, and it kicked me off. There was no room for McShay over there, and so we're delighted to have Todd McShay with us over here. Of course, one of our foremost draft analysts, works with Mel all year long, and Lucas Van Ness is the pick 13 to Green Bay. Yeah, I love this pick. It's good because you need versatility up front. I don't think there's a player in this draft that can play base defensive end and then rush the passer the way you can from a 3 technique, moving inside on the outside of the guard of the opponent. He had 7 sacks each of the past 2 seasons. Got better this year, was more disruptive. And I love the fact that you hear me when I say Lucas Van Ness. You said he's too young. He's not ready. He didn't start any games. And now here he is, his top 15.
Oh, there is another trade, guys. The New England Patriots just traded. Wow. Wow. Wow, guys. Wow. A trade. Lucas Van Ness traded. Not traded. He wasn't traded. Sorry about that. It was the Steelers trading up. Wow. Wow. Crazy. So Patriots, to see who they will try to get here. Wait, that's the wrong one. Sorry. There we go.
And listen, remember, as part of the Aaron Rodgers deal, they flip-flop from 13 to 15 to Jets did. And so you're looking at this, and that could be the difference between one of these offensive tackles. So the Jets and the Steelers know that. That's why they need to invest heavily here early in the draft in the offensive line position. They tried to piecemeal together over the past 2 years, and it really has stalled out their running game and put their quarterbacks on the run. It would make perfect sense. Wide receiver would make sense. Look, I mean, they can really. Obviously, you move into this position because you have targeted someone, but there's a number of different ways they can go with it. But offensive line makes total sense. And Bill Belichick would like nothing more than to give it to the Jets, right?
Wow. So crazy trade going on. A bunch of trades going on tonight. We haven't seen an A.J. Brown type trade yet, though. Broderick Jones could go to Pittsburgh, offensive tackle. So the Steelers received the 14th pick. Patriots received 17th overall pick and the 4th round pick, the number 120th pick for from the Steelers. So pretty good trade here for the Steelers. Trading up, they could pick an offensive lineman in Broderick Jones. They could also try to pick up Darnell. Wait, he got picked already. Okay. Anyway, the pick is in from the Steelers. The Jets are on the clock. All righty, here we go. Commissioner is coming out. Let's go ahead and get to it.
The New England Patriots have traded the 14th pick to the Pittsburgh Steelers. With the 14th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Broderick Jones, offensive tackle, Georgia.
So Broderick Jones going to the Steelers.
What are they getting in it?
I mean, listen, man. Easy rule of thumb for the draft. If you are coming in here not knowing a damn thing, you can't go wrong with picking somebody from Georgia. Am I right, Spencer?
Well, no, and you can't go wrong with him because if I had to define
offensive
this,
tackle out of Georgia,
among his peer group, Broderick Jones, power belly, strong hands, gigantic dude, mean at the point of impact, gets you out of the neighborhood with a quickness. Goodness. Wow. Yeah, I mean, just everything you want in an offensive lineman. Tell me, I don't think we could have made too many bad choices in like the first 5 or 6 offensive linemen here, but like Broderick to me has a particular nastiness.
I mean, you just saw it in a couple of those plays right there. He is the most athletic of the offensive linemen in this year's draft. He is a freak. He's also the most limited in experience. You guys, and Georgia is such a hard team to say like he wasn't even a starter for much of 2021. But he didn't start. It was Jamari Salyer who ended up being the Chargers left tackle for much of this past year because of Rashawn Slater injury. But the guy basically didn't play as a redshirt freshman a year ago, takes over that starting job this year, but has less than 1,000 college snaps to his name. So there's some raw development here for Broderick Jones, but the upside is crazy. I mean, you saw him moving around there, pushing guys around like they were small children. He had a real chance to be
so the Jets are on the clock. They have 6 minutes left.
They've been doing sort of half measures along.
So they could, the Jets.
direction as we see their draft room. One can imagine perhaps some disappointment there that they won't have the opportunity. Aaron Rodgers comes to it.
This is a crazy pick here.
In the history of the organization, the Jets have one all-pro season from a quarterback. It has been that long. It was Joe Namath.
Quarterback declaration all-time Rodgers, 4 all-time Jets, QBs 0, 4 MVPs. Wow.
Is there an offensive lineman that would make sense to go this high, or must they look in different directions? Absolutely not. The Jets had 3 offensive linemen that they were considering at the number 13, and now the 13 pick up for 3. They're all gone. And so now, if you're Joe Douglas,
We are entering
he wants draft picks because
almost halfway, and we are entering 1 hour and 46 minutes on this stream.
If they can move back, Joe Douglas will move back. If not, they stay home. And there are some options here. I think Elijah Cancel, the defensive tackle from Pittsburgh, really fits what they want to do. The re-signings, Quentin Williams are going to hopefully get a deal done soon. That would be a great interior of that defense. But they could go in a couple different directions. But I know Joe's working the board right now. Yeah, he was thinking moving down. I'll tell you a name that we talked about it. I like Bill McDonald before. A pass rusher coming off the edge. You can't deny what he can do with his bend. We know how important bend is for a guy that was going to test it off the start. He's solid in terms of production. Brad's career, I would say. He's a master of the strip sack. Well, I want to see where a woman.
Wow. All right.
And that pick will make a lot of sense when you understand who the head coach is, former defensive coordinator Robert Salah.
We are getting low here on the list.
So to add a 3 technique that can rush on the play, to add an edge guy that can rush and make the pass rush even better.
Here's the other thing too. I mean, just throwing it out there. What about getting another wide receiver? Well, that was where I was going in there. Top 2 receivers going to Jackson Smith-Njigba from Ohio State, Zay Flowers, Boston College, 2 guys that could work in the slot right away. That would be exciting too. You definitely have to now be able to adjust and adapt. And you may want to move out, but you can't. Yeah, you're just going to look across your board laterally and see like who's sticking out. Somebody's got to be sticking out for them at a position that maybe they didn't expect that they would have to take at this position. But now they're going to have to take it. And if you say 2 to your board, it may be that wide receiver. It may be Elijah Cancel. It could be, a guy like Nolan Smith. They could use more speed off the edge. So, I mean, this is where this draft starts getting tricky. Because now maybe the players are not there that you wanted. And now the board has to talk to you. Simple as that. Well, they have waited quite some time. As we can see, the pick is still not in, Mel, which I think does back what Todd McShay was suggesting. Perhaps they are looking
Man, so the draft
before they turn in the envelope.
continues on.
Where's the team going to take a quarterback who has slid down further along the behavior right now? This is my favorite assignment of the year. If the Jets draft a quarterback right now, I'm leaving. Okay, it's as simple as that. But that's a good sport. You can at least introducing the best. Leave your notes if you leave. Let someone else find her. Hey, by the way, he's introducing the fact that Will Levis is his favorite quarterback. He said that a lot. He's still available. Well, he hasn't said in front of me. So I appreciate him being, owning up to it right now. Second highest rated quarterback. Yeah, but he's your favorite. Because you hate him so much. Oh, all right, that said, let me get in between the two of you bickering here if I can. If the Jets are not able to make a trade in the next 2 minutes and 9 seconds, what direction should they go? I would take Elijah Cancel, defensive tackle from Pittsburgh, but I would understand a receiver too. I'll take one McDonald. I would.
So the Jets might trade.
I'm looking at speed.
To wait and see that. Good in the next 2 minutes.
He's got different speed. I heard that physically, the tech is going to be fine. He's going to be ready to go when the season starts. That's what I'm looking at. Honestly, I would love any of those 3. Nolan Smith, Will McDonald, wide receiver, Elijah Cancel, make it 4 options. They have good options. It's just not the options that everyone expects. You're in the AFC, guys. That's one thing about the AFC. You got to get quarterback. You have to. You got to have speed coming off the edge. 4-3 just sticks out. I just see a team sitting down here when we're talking about big families.
He's just casually sitting there and just playing cards with someone.
Something like that, somebody down here. Hey. He looked good in Jeff Green, too. He looked good there, too. All the names you guys have mentioned have been defensive players.
They obviously just picked.
That the Jets wind up going. It took them a very long time to work out the Aaron Rodgers trade, and now it's taken them a very long time to make this selection. But we are seeing this is live pictures from their draft room, and they seem to be hugging each other. They're happy about something. It still suggests here that they have not turned in the envelope. It certainly looks as though they make some sort of decision that has them excited. We'll see what it is. Again, the police have been that they wanted to come out of this
Take this in.
with an offensive tackle. The three primary names went off the board before their selection at number 15, and now it has changed here. The Washington Commanders are on the box, and the Jets have made their pick. Not been informed of any trade, so we assume it is the Jets who have made that selection, and we'll find out from the commissioner in just a matter of a few moments. All of you see this is
All right. Here we go. Who could they go for? Who could they get?
I mean, when you got Stewart, you want to go after him, right? You got Miami with Tua, you got New England with Mac Jones, and Mac Jones right now is the fourth best quarterback in the division, by the way. And an AFC loaded with great quarterbacks, and you got Nolan Smith, Will McDonald there. I just think if your tackles are gone, get after the quarterback with one, two guys who said for something. Yeah, I told you, we said Nolan Smith probably an 8, 9 sack of your guy. Yeah, I love Will McDonald later, you know, and then he's your guy. I'll give you that, but it's either Nolan Smith or Kalijah Campbell. You're either getting
All right. So they have Kalijah Campbell or Kalijah Tansey here.
And let's not forget, they tried to add some speed off the edge before Lawson. Yeah, the Achilles couldn't quite get back. So maybe they want to add a dynamic guy coming off the edge. How do you want to play? What's your philosophy? No, that's not Robert Saleh. The head coach wants to play. They're the guys with high motor. Yeah, and they can run all day long. And the reason why I was just joking, why I wasn't really joking about because you know I love him. But I'm thinking Detroit down there at 18. Yeah, that'd be a great thing. Think about him with Aiden Hutchinson. Detroit's doing work. Houston, don't forget about him. Houston also. Absolutely. Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah, so with the Jets on the clock, the young man who's going to help Roger Goodell announce their pick is
Here comes Goodell.
Kyle Stickles. He is a 13-year-old recovering from bone cancer, and he's a Make-A-Wish kid.
I'll make a wish. Here we go. Make a wish.
The first round pick for the Jets because he will have the honor of doing that. In fact, I see them coming up the staircase. You see the Jet fans are excited. These are heady days for fans of this franchise. And here comes the commissioner and his special guest to announce the pick.
The NFL is proud to be part of the global community that supports the life-changing wishes that Make-A-Wish grants. With World Wish Day only a couple days away, I'm joined by Kyle Stickles, a Make-A-Wish kid who battled and overcame bone cancer. Kyle's wish is to announce the first round pick of his favorite team, the New York Jets. I'd like all of you to join me in cheering on Kyle as his wish comes true. The floor is yours, Kyle.
Here we go.
Thank you, Mr. Goodell. I'd also like to thank the NFL, the New York Jets, and the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Northeastern New York for giving me this opportunity tonight. Yeah! With the 15th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Will McDonald, linebacker, Iowa State. Let's go! Yeah!
Will McDonald, the fourth. This young man can run the passer, set a score, and tied for the most in the nation in 2020. 10.5 sacks, broke that the following year with 11.5, 3-time first-team All-Big 12.
That's funny.
I love the kid. We talked about him a lot. You were singing about him a lot as well, which he did very effectively. But if 6'3" and a half, 240 pounds, he had a 36 vertical, turns 24 years
Back pass rusher for the Jets in the first round. Last year
incredibly long arms. I
out of, they obviously went 2 first-round picks, but they finished up with Jermaine Johnson II, who started at Georgia, finishes at Florida State. Thought he was okay this past year. Nothing that necessarily screams super-duper star yet. But Will McDonald IV, there are a couple of Big 12 pass rushers who blew up in the past couple of years. McDonald's one of them. Felix. Who else?
So the Jets select Will McDonald,
the other one, but
the
McDonald,
5th out of Iowa State.
We'll get better as the night goes on. One of the best players at the Senior Bowl this year, had good production over the past 2 seasons at Iowa State, a team that obviously has played incredibly gritty defense under Matt Campbell these past handful of years. So it makes sense to me. Maybe a little richer than some people thought in terms of where he would go overall, but I like this pick for the Jets.
And again, I'll say this: when you say little richer,
at this point, though, who knows?
Yeah, who
knows? At this point, I'm not like Will McDonald was going to go in the first round somewhere, so I don't think going 16. I mean, Mel Kiper had him at the 8th pick at one point in his mock draft, all the way to the Falcons at pick number 8 overall. So it's a it's kind of where it is.
And again, it's not as simple as, well, I'll move down for him either. They found somebody that they liked. I think they were looking offensive line by all indications. And you got to look at your board, though, at some point, right? Like, if you just don't see value anymore with what's left on the board at offensive line, but you do see value at getting somebody that, maybe even in their rookie year can be a situational pass rusher for you, come in and give you some snaps. Like, you have a chance to develop them, too. So
listen, this tells me that the mindset of Robert Saleh, the New York Jets, they have Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback, but they also know the other quarterbacks that they have to go against in the AFC. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna attack those quarterbacks. We're gonna minimize them with this pass rush, elite pass rush that they have. So they added another guy. You gotta remember, they still have Jermaine Johnson as well that they drafted last season. Like, he's gonna be going into his second year, a top 5 defense that I think is only gonna get better as those young players grow.
A guy who I trust that staff to put him in the right position.
All right, we'll be right back.
But not a dude who I think of as being disruptive by himself just due to his size. He's not, he's what, 236? He's around there. They'll put him in the right spot, but if you had any reservations about him, it might be like, hey, man, hit the biscuits,
Yeah, but the attention that Quinnen Williams is going to garner,
it's
going to leave him one-on-one.
Customize the cut with Ego's revolutionary dual blade cutting system with 3 interchangeable blades. Featuring Ego's patented lithium battery technology, it cuts for over an hour on a single charge. And touch-drive self-propel technology makes it effortless. The Ego Power Plus Select Cut Mode, exclusively at Lowe's, Ace, and Ego authorized dealers.
Electric Dream Days are here. Come now and experience the intense thrills and incredible offers.
All right, so the Commanders might be picking up a quarterback. On the board on the top, so they have Will Levis they can pick up. They also have Hendon Hooker also on the board. Those two might be some good players that might be recruited to the Commanders, but they also drafted a player last year in Sam Howell. And that's one of their players they drafted last year, so they might try to just pick up a free agent and try to get him ready. Try to get Howell ready for the regular season. Anyway, entering the 2-hour mark. A minute and a half left, and we have entered the 2-minute mark.
Full-time fans must be enthusiastic problem solvers. Possess strong communication skills.
The Commanders pick is in, so we will be waiting for that for this commercial break. Oh, man, guys, this is freezing. Freezing. Let's see if I have a shirt.
I always hear you kids talking about this is fire, that's fire. Okay, let me tell you what's fire. Conditioning.
Everybody knows us Mannies are in peak physical form. Except Peyton.
Who did the other 99 earlier?
Enough was enough. We had to show Coach Bay how we condition.
Personal best here.
He's not potential. He's just old. Okay, man?
Ooh, got me better.
As the Stanley Cup playoffs continue on ESPN, anything is possible. So the decorations could get a little out of hand, and the city could get a new landmark. Could the freak flag fly? Could the
score surge? Could it happen for the first time? Could it happen again? Yeah, that could happen. Daggy's playoff high. Devils Rangers Game 6, Saturday on ABC and ESPN. Welcome back to the 2023 NFL Draft, presented by Courtyard by Marriott. We continue from Kansas City as we work our way to the midway point of round one. Actually, beyond with only 31 picks this year. The Washington Commanders pick is in. Here's the commission.
With the 16th picks in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders select Emmanuel Forbes, defensive back, Mississippi.
Emmanuel Forbes being picked off the board from Mississippi State.
Listen to this. He brought 6 of them back for touchdowns. 6 pick sixes is an all-time FBS record. For context, now, only 2 active NFL players have that many for their career. 16 interceptions in high school, Brady. Another 14 in his career there. This kid is a elite ball skill player. Phenomenal ball skills. You know, that guy studies the game, jumps around.
Combinations, chances. You talk about another corner in the NFL right now that takes chances, Trayvon Diggs. I can live with my corner getting beat every now and then because I know he's going to get the ball back to my offense frequently.
Yep. I mean, when you have a corner with that kind of ball skills, right, you're always a threat. 14 picks in his career. I think in high school, he also took 7 interceptions back. So this guy is a ball hawk, obviously natural ball skills. He does weigh 166 pounds, and it seems like he didn't gain a single pound through his whole college career.
Man,
that
he's
is
a very
something
good
to
player.
think about and
Patriots
have a
pick is already
conversation about.
in.
Can I also throw in above and beyond the interception numbers? 16 passes defended last year, 35 in his career. Just somebody that is always around. And we talked about this today on the radio show. Like, sometimes they say, well, he's super aggressive. To me, that just means, like, A, you got good instincts. B, you watch enough that you know what's coming. C, you're in the right place at the right time. That's not accidental. Like,
Give
that's not
me somebody
accidental.
who's going to take chances versus somebody who's going to sit back and be scared to take those chances.
It would be one thing if he was aggressive and he didn't have 14 picks in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Right.
166 pounds. That's the big thing on Emmanuel Forbes. Is he is thinner than I am, which is not necessarily a good thing. But he is as confident a cornerback as there is in this year's draft. He is sticky in man coverage. The guy.
Be smart. So you see there the Washington draft room as they complete everything, and the Patriots pick has come in as well. New England trading back from 14 with the Steelers, and they're ready at 17.
All right, here we go. The Patriots make their pick.
In the 2023 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select Christian Gonzalez, defensive back, Oregon.
All right, so the Patriots being picked by the Patriots tonight as Detroit is now on the clock. But Christian Gonzalez is a really good player. Pretty good player here. So he's from Oregon.
What feels like a steal.
And I like him. He has good pass coverage. Really good pass coverage.
My mic might have been off. Apologies. Purest cover corner in the draft.
He has really good
Unbelievable
off coverage
athlete.
as
This
well.
guy is smooth as butter. Began his college career at Colorado. Transfers prior to last season. The big knock on Christian Gonzalez was didn't have any interceptions. Goes to Oregon, and what does he do? Just intercepts passes left and right. And we're talking about Emmanuel Forbes and his return skills. This guy, you can see it. When he has the ball in his hands, he's thinking touchdown as well. He's got incredible bloodlines in his family. He comes from a family of sprinters. He's not quite as fast as his sister, who is the wife of quarterback David Blau of the Arizona Cardinals. But you guys may remember a few years ago when Blau was with the Lions, he was cheering on his wife, who's a sprinter. This is the family that Christian Gonzalez. I don't know how he's.
All right, so Christian Gonzalez picked off the board from the Patriots. The Detroit Lions are now on the clock. 6 minutes and a half for them left. They are pick number 18. The Tampa Bay is on deck. So 2 straight cornerbacks taken off the board.
unusual start here, but Christian Gonzalez is a Patriot, and Will Levis is still waiting to hear his name called. The Lions are next up at 18, followed by Tampa Bay, Seattle. Will anyone want a quarterback? We're going to find out as we continue in a moment from Kansas City.
And they have a commercial break going on.
As that man waits to hear where his future will take him next.
YouTube is now the home of NFL Sunday Ticket. Does this mean you can watch NFL Sunday Ticket without putting a satellite in? Does this mean you can watch your favorite teams out of market Sunday games? Does this mean all the players are technically YouTube celebrities now? Yes, to every one of those things. Sign up now and get our lowest full season price of the year on YouTube and YouTube TV.
You were playing. That's not the bunch to know if it's right.
The Giants, it looks like Jack Smith-Njigba is... It looks like he might be coming down the board a little bit. So, honestly, I feel like Jack Smith-Njigba might be our best bet for the Giants. We could try to pick up a defensive player, maybe Nolan Smith. Could pick up an offensive lineman like Elijah Tansey, or pick up like Zay Flowers or Jordan Addison. But yeah, we are rolling along through this draft, 2 hours through.
What if beer could get to the right place at the right time all the time? Not like that. Like this. Getting this beer all over the world.
All right, the Lions pick is in. Still commercial break. Tampa Bay is now on the clock.
So beer can be ordered, produced, and delivered more efficiently. So happy hours keep going. And the beer keeps flowing. That's the automation.
It's been a long 2 hours.
Global beer company created. What will you create? IBM. Let's create. Doesn't get any better than this. Yeah. Be a shame if it rained though, and that's why I brought these. See? Now they're protected. Cheers today. I don't know how I'm gonna drink this now. It was your idea to bring them, bro. Yeah, I didn't think it through.
1 in 8 people have worked at a McDonald's.
Hi, welcome to McDonald's.
That's a lot of people who know things like teamwork, people skills, and surprising moments. Our experiences you'll always have.
The 2023 NFL Draft, presented by Courtyard by Marriott, is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go.
Alrighty, guys.
And NFL Sunday Ticket, now on YouTube and YouTube TV.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. The draft continues on to pick number 18. The Lions pick is in. And who will they pick? Will they pick a tight end to replace a tight end to replace TJ Hawkinson? Or they go for defense to help on their defense? Or they get a wide receiver to help out with Jared Goff up there in Detroit. We'll have to wait and see. Will Levis, 1.8% chance he would be available at pick number 18. He is now available. So that's pretty bad for Will Levis. And now he will be. And Will Levis, let's see if he will get taken here by the Lions. Now, there might be a chance, but probably not, because they have Jared Goff. Man, hey, go to bed. Go to bed. All right, here we go. Wait and see here. Wait and see here who they will take. Here comes Roger Goodell.
With the 18th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Jack Campbell.
Jack Campbell goes to Detroit. Wow. Okay. From Iowa, this might be a good good pick here.
Yep. This is the Lions pick of all time.
Yeah, 100%.
Throwaway where took place and like the positional value in the first round number 18 overall. Jack Campbell, who no relation to Dan Campbell, is such a Lions player. I mean, like, this team embodies their coaching staff, right? Dan Campbell, who's built great. Aaron Glenn, their defensive coordinator, one of my favorite coaches in the entire NFL, like, would legit give them 25 snaps this year if they asked him to. They want players who will beat the crap out of you on defense. And Jack Campbell is going to beat the crap out of you on defense. Linebacker wasn't really good for the Lions. The Buckus winners you saw just a moment ago, that's given away
as
the
the
best linebacker in the country. The first ever Iowa linebacker to win that very prestigious award. And this dude is all out all the time, Harry.
He is. And I talked to Kirk Ferentz about him as well. And when he was just trying to describe the way that he approaches the game, he kind of paused for a second and he goes, you know, Harry, he takes the game about as serious as a heart attack. Like, it means that much to him. That you mentioned it, the Campbell Trophy, the academic Heisman. I sort of asked him, I was like, hey, among the players.
Looking pretty good coming in. Linebacker. So.
He is a big physical presence in the middle of the defense. As a flipper of this cross in the A and B gap, where he's coming downhill, he's going to wreck your inside triangle. He has 5 career interceptions. He can run sideline to sideline. And for a defense that needed some beat in the middle, he will get it. And when you think about Dan Campbell,
anyway, yeah, so Campbell taking number 18th, and the Buccaneers pick is in.
This is the guy that they want. The defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn, he got a lot of flack early in the season. But the defense played better toward the end of the season. This is a plug-and-play guy that can make tackles sideline to sideline. And he's an above-average athlete, especially in zone coverage.
So they have the 2 picks tonight. They take the running back and the linebacker. Will the Tampa Bay Buccaneers take the quarterback? We'll find out when we continue in 30 seconds after.
So 30 seconds. They're taking the commercial break.
Your shades off. We can fix it now. You're done.
So here we go, guys. Let's hear the chat. Let's go.
Introducing Front Door. Download today to video chat on Expert.
Continue from Kansas City, and we are waiting to hear.
Let's go. All right, Buccaneers is in. Who will they take? Will they take a guy to replace Baker Mayfield? We'll wait and see. Coming up. Here's their pick. Is almost in. And they might pick up Will Levis here. Who knows? We might wait and see. They might pick up Nolan Smith, a linebacker. They might pick up Dawson Kincaid to kind of replace Rob Gronkowski from a couple years ago. They might pick up some other good players, like wide receivers. We'll have to wait and see. Here's the pick.
With the 19th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Elijah Cansey.
Ooh, Cansey. Okay. So offensive tackle taken up. Defensive tackle, sorry, taken to the Buccaneers. Anyway, Elijah Cansey taken to the Buccaneers. Pretty good pickup for them. 6'1", 281 yards. Grady Jarrett is his comparison in this league.
To Aaron Donald. He went to Miami Northwestern, did not get an offer from any of the 3 Florida schools. This guy plays like he has something to prove. And that Pitt defensive line was really good. Desmond Alexander is a name you'll probably end up hearing on day 3. That's also going to get called. But this guy right here is an absolute problem, and he made it known on every Saturday.
Here are my notes. Explosive, has a series of pass rush moves, very, very high motor. First unanimous All-American since Aaron Donald.
Other
I would
than
love
his
to be in that
height,
category.
he didn't do one thing wrong in the pre-draft process, and that includes his college career. Not a single thing wrong other than being 6'1". If he was 6'3" and 315 pounds and had the same skill set and production,
So, yeah.
he would have been gone, I don't know, 15 picks earlier. That's how incredible he was at Pitt. I mean, he was a game wrecker for a team that, I'm sure Harry can tell you, like 2 years ago they could play offense. Last year they were from offense. Right, Kenny Pickett obviously went to the NFL, but like this team had to win games by field goals and defense last year, and Elijah Cansey actually helped them stay fairly competitive for chunks of last season. He's a game wrecker amongst peers.
So yeah, pretty good draft so far.
They're
A
interesting.
lot of good
They're in
things
this
happening.
unique phase, has some shades of what I was discussing earlier with Tampa
That
and Tennessee. Don't
bottom
quite
of
know.
these
Are they rebuilding? Are they retooling? What are they doing? This one to me feels like a perfect value based off of his skill.
A guy whose use of his hands is just bewildering for an offensive lineman, right? Like a guy who is disruptive, super quick, like very Tasmanian devilish at the point of attack. Just not anybody who would fun to face. Look, the stuff of chasing down skilled players in the backfield, it is ridiculous what he is capable of.
I like this young core that they're building for this defensive line. You talk about Vita Vea, Logan Hall, who they took from Houston last year. Also, Joe Tryon-Shalinka. All those guys, man, are going to be a force to be reckoned with in some years.
Yeah, I mean, Cansey, he's not as strong as an Aaron Donald, but he probably has more wiggle, right? And even on the low side, if he is a poor man's Aaron Donald, you still net out really, really good, right?
And Harry's pointed out a couple of times when we've talked about him, like, sometimes we forget how hard it is to put up sack numbers from the interior defensive line, and he's done that, right? Like, that just speaks to disruptiveness, right? That's and if you're Tampa Bay, again, how many times are going to echo this? Just because you need a quarterback doesn't mean you take one. If you're Tampa Bay and you don't know where you are right now as a franchise, what you need to get out of the first round is somebody that will make your team, as stupid as it sounds, like we being the media, we focus so much on quarterbacks with every team. I still look at a team like San Francisco and say, you know what they did really well? They said, we don't give a damn. We're going to build the best team possible. And then when they took a risk at the back position and it turned out to pay off, that's okay because they built a good roster. Like sometimes there's just patience is a virtue when it comes to like, I'm going to build the whole pizza, not just the top.
Well, here's the thing for me when it comes to Will Levis, because he's still on the board. When you look at the Colts who decided to go with Anthony Richardson, you look at the Seahawks who chose Witherspoon, you also look at the Raiders who took Tyree Wilson. There are Tennessee who took Skoronski. There are a lot of teams, Tampa, who just took, Cansey. There are a lot of teams who need a quarterback that are passing right now on Will Levis. Now, Seattle's on the clock now. They have an opportunity to do it now, but they might go defense with this pick.
I mean, Seattle is back on the clock, and you mentioned it. Seattle picked Devin Witherspoon, right? So Seattle went aggressively at the 5th overall pick at the top corner in the draft, according to me. So they solidified what they're doing.
So needs to crack this code. We probably have another couple hour and a half or
commercial
so
break,
left in this broadcast. Pete Carroll does
not a lot of stuff happening right now.
Yeah.
He does not tweet much between the drafts, but he does go heavy during the draft for these draft clues. If somebody can crack the code and make sense of how that draft clue set that he sent out earlier suggested Devin Witherspoon, please let me know, because I haven't figured out how they meet. Alfred, you like Seahawks, that's your squad. He'll be able to figure it out.
No.
Sorry, one of our boss is sitting over there, and he's a Seahawks fan.
I can decode part of the Pete Carroll cipher, and it's this: who is the nastiest player? Who is the nastiest player currently on the board? Who's remotely like a position of need for them?
Nastiest
The
player.
nastiest. Who's the nastiest edge?
Nastiest edge still
With a
available.
slight element of risk.
Nolan Smith?
Nolan Smith,
Yeah.
I don't know,
Then-
is he nasty though?
Yeah.
He's a nasty
fast.
athlete, right?
I mean,
He is-
when I'm looking at
Miles Murphy?
our best available.
All right, guys, here we go.
According to ESPN.com.
Here we
Will
go,
Levis,
here we go,
Dalton
here we
Kincaid,
go, guys.
Nolan Smith, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Michael Mayer, Zay
Give me-
Flowers,
yeah.
Joey Porter Jr., Miles Murphy.
I'll give you one. Mozzie Smith, defensive tackle from Michigan. If they had, he's got some nasty. And Steve Avila, the offensive lineman from TCU, to me would be a nasty offensive lineman for sure. But
every time I look up, that's what I see Pete Carroll drafting. Is he's just going to take the most
Seahawks,
dog,
they are
most
on
rare
the
unit
clock.
of
A minute
human
and a
he can
half
find.
left for them. There's a 1.1% chance
Well,
he'll
they
be
are on
available
the
at
clock
this
with about
point
a
in the
minute
draft.
30.
20.
I think this is likely, as we
number
keep
20
projecting,
here
going to
for
be a
the
trend
Seattle
throughout the course of the
Seahawks.
last hour of the draft. Teams are looking to move around, so they're going to use as much of the time as possible. I feel for Will Levis right now, the podcast is showing us.
just
The
talking
Chargers
about how
are on
Pete
the
not
clock.
tweet much between drafts. I got a very good
After
friend, one of my best friends in the world,
Seahawks
who
finish.
tweets like 32 picks typically in the first round. So he probably tweets about 35 times over the total course of the year. 32 are dedicated to the NFL draft. He tweets a breakdown of every pick of the first round. Chris Morrissey, I love you, man, if you're watching this right now. He pours his heart and soul into it. And I love the fact that 90% of his tweets are dedicated to this night. One of them just came across my timeline, and I'm like, let's go. All right, he's into it. He's the Mel Kiper.
Seattle already picked
the town that
Devon
I grew up in.
Witherspoon at the number 5 pick.
All
What
right, so
happened here
the Seahawks got less
at
than
the
a
number
minute to
20
go
pick?
on the
15
clock?
picks later,
So,
Seahawks
you know,
are
maybe they just,
back
maybe they
on
just
the
wait,
board.
you know, just
Will they
keep
pick up a
it
tight end? Will they
no,
pick up a quarterback? Will they pick
Crazy
up
for
a
them to go quarterback.
linebacker? Will they pick up a receiver?
No,
no, I
Will
don't
they
think
pick
so.
up
The
Because
deal
they
is
could have went there at
tackle?
5.
Yep.
We
They
don't
could have went there at 5.
know.
So
We'll have to
it
wait
wouldn't be a
and see. That's
surprise.
what
It wouldn't be a
the,
surprise to me if it was
That's
Hendon
what the
Hooker.
feeling
Right.
is for. The pick is in. The pick is in. Let's go. Pick is in. Pick is in. Pick is in, guys. Pick is in. Wait and see who they pick. The beginning of the sign to Elijah Tansey. They drafted Tansey. Who could they get? They could get Zay Flowers. They could get Jackson Smith and Jigba. They are on the board. Dalton Kincaid as well. The Chargers are on the clock right now as the time. Baltimore is on deck.
Do they need more people on the inside? A bunch of all the wide receivers still sitting there. Could they use another one of those? But I have a hard time feeling as though that this will not be another defensive pick. And do they go for a bigger guy? You speak of Boye and Mafe, Nolan Smith, kind of the same body type. You go for somebody like Miles Murphy, 6'5", 270 pounds, a bigger defensive end with similar type juice. Maybe they want to go bigger. Yeah, that's a possibility. Yeah, I mean, it's just depends on the profile. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll remind everyone that they already have selected a player tonight. They took the corner, Devin Witherspoon, with the 5th pick in the draft. So they've made.
Here we go. The pick is in.
It's amazing that none of the wide receivers have gone yet. You know, but we talk about this draft not being very deep from a wide receiver standpoint, but there's some good ones on it. I'm going to have to get off the board here. With the Seahawks on the clock.
Here we go, guys. Here we go. Some special guests.
Football and the Seahawks pick right now.
The Seattle Seahawks are champions of growing the game of football at the youth and high school levels. Joining me on stage are local boys tackle football players and local girls flag players who are pioneers in flag football growth. These young men and women embody the NFL values of respect, integrity, resiliency, and responsibility to their teams. Congratulations on your accomplishments in your academic and football careers. Now to make the selection, please welcome Bethany Uribe. Go ahead.
With the 20th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Seattle
Kincaid.
Seahawks select Jackson and Jigba.
Ooh, the Jigba! No! The Jigba goes to the freaking Seahawks. No! No! He wanted them to go to the Giants. Come on. Come on. He goes to the Seahawks. And
which is where he can really do a lot of work in the middle of the field. He did a lot of work at Ohio State, but he's an X. He's a split end. He's a flanker. He's a seam. He's also a slot guy, and they will move him all over the place and pair him with DK Metcalf for sure and Tyler Lockett. And Geno Smith has to be thinking, look, I have a guy here right now who can make the contested catches, who you don't see get run down from behind, who offensive coordinator Brian Hartline out there at Ohio State says, hey, look, of all the good players that I have had recently, all the wide receivers that we put into the NFL, this guy of the recent crop is as good, if not better, than all of them. He believes in the way this kid is made up in terms of his temperament and his intelligence.
all right, so comparison to CeeDee Lamb going to the Seattle Seahawks. And the Chargers are on the board. 5 minutes, 30 seconds left for their selection. Now, I am very mad at this pick. Wanted them to go to the Giants. But now the Giants have to look at maybe a defensive player or maybe Zay Flowers. Or maybe even Joey Porter Jr. from Penn State, cornerback. The Giants are dropping a few picks. Minnesota is on deck. Well, Baltimore is on deck. Minnesota is in the hole. But Jackson Smith, Njigba, taken off the board to the Seattle Seahawks. Giants play draft in 25th on the order. So.
I don't want to just box him in to be in a spot because he can get off the line of scrimmage. He doesn't need formation variation in order to win at the line of scrimmage. And between him and Witherspoon now, I said this a year ago in August. This team is on the rise now. And they surprised people last year. These first two picks, these guys are going to produce for them right out of the gate. They're going to be one of the youngest, most productive teams as far as getting production out of their draft picks as anyone. Look out for Seattle. They have to be one of the favorites. To me, they're a favorite in the West. They're still going to get cash against the run. But there's a lot of draft left now. I got it.
The team that traded away Russell Wilson, and look at all that they have done in return.
I mean, look at the youth here with Charles Cross and Kenneth Walker as a stud. They have their bookend tackles now. Tariq Woolen was signed last year in the 5th round of new team, yet they have former wide receiver. Him and Witherspoon are going to be a problem. And now with Jackson, look, I get it, Mel. You got to eventually start getting at the guts of your roster here and take care of it. I think they'll address it.
All right, Subway's going to take us back down to the stage now. Susie is with Jackson Smith in Missouri.
Your dad has been preparing you for this moment since you were a little kid. What's it like to have your dream come true?
It's awesome. My dream come true, like you said. A lot of work has been put in. You know, it took a village, for me to be here. And I appreciate everybody, all the sacrifices, all the love that I got back home. Let's do this thing.
The name of Njigba is already in the major leagues. Your brother played for the Pirates. What does it represent to have that name on the back of an NFL?
Oh, so Njigba's brother plays on the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Now another great Ohio State wide
It's David Smith Njigba on the Pittsburgh Pirates. So there you have it. The Chargers pick is in. The pick is in. So 2020 Ohio State wide receivers drafted in the first round last two drafts. Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Jamison Williams, and now Jackson Smith Najigba Williams transferred to Alabama in 2021, so he was from Ohio State in 2020. Now, last two drafts, so you have that there, and looking pretty good now. So let's take a look at Pizza Hut draft moment. Bryce Young, taken first overall in the 2023 NFL draft. And CJ Stroud, second overall pick in the draft, set for the Anthony Richardson to the Colts. So, yeah, that was your Pizza Hut draft moment.
And that's our draft moment over by Pizza Hut, and that leaves Will Levis still in the green room, still waiting to hear his name called.
Will Levis, there is a 0.8% chance he would be available at pick number 22. He is still on the board. So the Chargers, the Ravens, Minnesota might pick him number 23. But anyways, number 21, Chargers pick is in.
That they are going to go as we take a look inside their draft room, and then the Ravens, who've had a busy day.
Oh no! The Edwin Diaz song is blaring at the draft.
They get that done, so we'll hear from them after we hear from the Chargers here. Of course, made the playoffs last season with their star young quarterback in Justin Herbert. Had the enormous lead in Jacksonville, lost in unimaginable fashion. Let's see what they decide to do
Here we go. Draft. Here's Roger Goodell.
With the 21st pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Quentin Johnston.
Ooh, Quentin Johnston from TCU.
national championship game. Now 60 catches for over 1,000 yards last season.
He looks the part, that's 6'3", 210 with incredibly long arms, 40.5 vertical. He has some productive work.
Anyway, Quentin Johnston, wide receiver from TCU, going on to the Chargers. He's compared to T. Higgins. And yeah, pretty good wide receiver. Ravens are on the clock. Vikings are on deck. Really good job. That was at Kansas. Now Baylor.
They got him the ball in all kinds of ways. They moved him all over the place, and they ran him on everything. They ran him on the double move deep. They ran him on the intermediate digs and curls. They ran him on the bubble screens. They ran him on the shallow crossers. Any way they could possibly get him the football, they got him the football. And I'll tell you, he is a tough guy to bring down. So his run after the catch is exactly what you want. And he fits the profile of the bigger receiver like the Chargers are used to.
And when you look at what the Chargers are doing, they got two $20 million receivers with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. They stay hurt. It's hard to produce when you're hurt. So this fits the profile. We're going to get the quarterback, Justin Herbert, who we're going to sign to the extension soon. We're going to give him a dependable weapon. I can't have Mike Williams or Keenan Allen in the club. I need somebody outside so our offense can be prolific and we can score points in the AFC.
The wide receiver run is continuing.
Exactly.
Yeah, Zay Flowers, one of my favorite players in this draft. Yeah, Boston College wide receiver. I'll tell you what, Baltimore needs a speed guy in that offense. Yeah, Zay Flowers will be ideal fit for the Baltimore Ravens, and Lamar Jackson now under contract.
They added OBJ. Exactly. So we'll see if they do decide to bring in another receiver. We'll find out.
All right, so they're taking another commercial break. I will be right back as well.
We continue from Kansas City in a moment.
Hey guys, random question. Is it bad to swallow a lime when you're crying?
Andy, did you swallow your lime?
No, he definitely did. Besides, limes are a superfood.
Here's your goodie bag. All that food for $5. That's my go-to.
Ooh, that's my ride or die.
Just like you and me. Bag boys. Bag boys, what you gonna do?
No.
What you gonna do when we bring your food?
You can always bet on bacon. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag. The following transformation is real, but temporary.
Now any guy can temporarily cover grays, fill in thin patchy areas, and create a fuller, defined look for beard and brows. New, just for men, one-day beard and brow. Breakthrough color that stays put for the day until you wash it out. Transform your look. New, just for men, one-day beard and brow color.
We are affecting everyone around us with our every move. The more that we can shine a light on the positivity and the good that there is in this world, the better off we're going to be. Time and time again, we're showing how beautiful and generous the human spirit can be. How can I make a difference? No matter how big, no matter how small, how can I make a difference?
One in 8 people have worked at a McDonald's. That's a lot of technical skills, people skills,
Hi, welcome to McDonald's.
and lifelong skills learned on the job and off that 1 in 8 will always have.
I'm at this week, Joy, telling people that Geico's been offering savings for over 85 years. That's longer than the Buffalo Wings been around.
Dozen wings.
And did you know that Geico offers motorcycle insurance? Oh, my lips are burning. And my lips are actually burning.
Geico, over 85 years of savings and service. See how much you could save at geico.com.
It's too hot. This is too hot, mate.
NFL Plus brings you the draft like never before with exclusive content.
That's what I dreamed about. It's finally time.
Plus expert analysis.
He can do it all.
And behind the scenes access all off season.
Just trying to build that consistency.
NFL Plus. Get it all for $4.99 this off season.
Welcome back to the 2023 NFL Draft, presented by Courtyard by Marriott.
Continue from Kansas City. The Baltimore Ravens about to make the 23rd pick in this year's draft. But Adam Schefter, it's already been a busy day for the Ravens and the Bills. Major headlines for the Baltimore Ravens earlier today, reaching agreement with Lamar Jackson on a 5-year, $260 million contract that includes $185 million guaranteed. It's not the fully guaranteed contract that Lamar Jackson wanted, but it also does make him, on an average per-year basis, the highest paid player in NFL history with an average of $52 million a year. The Ravens already gave Lamar one gift today, and now there's a decent chance they'll give him another gift right here, Greeny. That's what you believe they need to do is get another wide receiver to help them out. Say Flowers, he's so dynamic, he's so sudden, you can use him on jet sweep, you can reverse it. The kid is electric with the ball in his hands and he can feel. He's a touchdown waiting to happen. That kind of speed, that kind of big playability is rare. I'm right now going into this draft with the 13th best player, my #1 overall receiver in this draft is Zay Flowers.
Now, let's not forget, Baltimore changes offensive coordinator. Todd Monkey comes in. They want to open the offense up, really. It's no longer going to be ground and pound. They want to open the field up. You got Nelson Aguilar, you signed. You got OBJ. If they add another receiver, so now you can see a dynamic 3-wide receiver set. They can stay healthy. Exactly. Can he stay healthy? They're different. They start to add a lot of weapons for the Baltimore Ravens.
I watch Zay Flowers, I'm telling you, in the way Boston calls Houston, it reminds me of how Andy Reid used Tyreek Hill in Kansas City. Constantly put him in the slot in 3-by-1 sets where he's the third guy in, closest to the offensive tackle, and getting him up vertically on safety, running double move, running those deep over routes. I mean, the guy is just, he's impossible to cover for safety. He's tough to cover for corners. They need that dynamic, plus 20-yard type of guy. He can produce those tough plays. He's got it. He's got it. He's character. So he has 13 siblings. He got to come back to work. You think about, the great kid he is. I tell you what, play like a Raven, Zay Flowers will. He's not a Raven, he will play like a Raven. The Ravens wide receivers combined for the fewest receiving yards in the NFL last season, just over
1,500 yards for the entirety of the receiving corps towards the end of their season was just a mess after Lamar Jackson got hurt, and there was all those questions as to whether he came back and play or not.
With the 22nd pick in the 2023 draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Zay Flowers, wide receiver, Boston College.
All right, so Zay Flowers goes to the Ravens.
Go ahead, Eric DeCosta.
So, this is my wide receiver of the draft. A lot of people may say he's a little undersized. I think he is a smaller Stephon Diggs, and I've been saying that for the last 2 years. Route running ability, stop and start, can make you look silly, but like you mentioned earlier, Phil, plays bigger than his actual size can beat you short, intermediate, or deep. They had a play against the University of Louisville, my alma mater, where there was 2 people there to defend the pass, but Zay Flowers, the smallest guy on the football field, came up with that football. I love the fact that he has about, I think, 7 or 8 plus brothers and sisters, so you know he has to be tough because he got to stand up for himself.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, this is also my favorite receiver. Undersized guy, but he plays big. When you talk about mentality, it makes you think of Steve Smith, right? Because he gets out there, he thinks he is the biggest man on the football field. If I gave him a comp, I actually like him for Santana Moss because he's a shorter guy, but he can play inside, he can play outside. He also had that edge. He's great off the line of scrimmage. And when you talk about changing direction, nobody does it as fast and as explosive as Zay Flowers.
The most important thing I love about Zay Flowers, he had an opportunity to transfer to another school for NIL money. He decided to stay at Boston College and fought it out, made plays, and still became a first-round draft.
One of 14 children.
Yes, that's what I was going to clarify.
Okay.
If you're the 11th of 14 children, hey, you've already taken an NFL beating growing up.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like that guy is going to be one of the toughest players on every single field that he steps on.
I've thought about all the ways you could describe him, and I've decided that I've been thinking this one for a while. The best way I can describe is Zay Flowers. I'm married to a lovely Boston College graduate. Zay Flowers allowed me to watch every game for the past 2 seasons. Boston College was unwatchable besides Zay Flowers, especially on offense. At least this year, right? I mean, Phil Yurkovich was just, I don't even know what happened there. But this kid he's dynamite. The biggest question mark for Zay Flowers besides the size is had some butterfingers this year. But that tends to be one of the things that can be, that can be concentration.
I'm sorry, you said Steve Smith. This is a 5'9" and change wide receiver who just came out of the NFL draft after being productive at Boston College of all places, and then strutted out their suit, hit him with the full training day. Hall of Famer. I'm just going to call it.
Day one.
You are a corner, you better get out your back pedal because he's going to eat your cushion up.
Yeah. Mean.
Very fast.
Excited for what this means for Lamar, as we talked about also. Should acknowledge the Vikings now on the clock, 5 minutes to go on their time.
Will Levis?
I mean, that's right. I mean, at some point, you got to look at this. Kirk Cousins has, 1 year left with a bunch of money on it, and after that, we'll see where things go. Minnesota seems to like Kirk Cousins a lot, but he's not young. He is expensive. You could reset the quarterback value.
This is where it gets really interesting.
Well, here's my question. If you have a guy because you also got to take into consideration that you have a guy in Justin Jefferson who was the best receiver in football last year, right? Is he going to be happy with a guy like Will Levis, or would he be more happy with a guy like Hendon Hooker from Tennessee? A more natural passer.
It also, we have to start looking at trade. Here's the reality of the free fall. I won't bog everybody down with all of it, but you have, after the Vikings, you have the Jags, the Giants, the Cowboys, the Bills, the Bengals, the Saints, the Eagles, the Chiefs. What do they have in common? None of them need a quarterback. So if you're Will Levis and you're not picked here at 23 at this point, there is a very real chance that you have the same fate as this banana. You're just done for the evening.
Banana might go uneaten, y'all, because if the Vikings pass him up, that's a drop. That's a steep drop.
I'll say this, and I don't wish any of these young men to be in this spot because, you wait for this night your entire life when you're a kid to get drafted to play in the National Football League and to actually be there at the draft and your name's not called. We've seen Aaron Rodgers go through that. So I don't wish that on anyone.
Of course. It's the most surprising part of this thing, quarterbacks fall. We know quarterbacks fall. I think a lot of people, you heard so much over the course of the last week about the possibility that Will Levis Levis could go number 2 overall. Will Levis could go number 1. Vegas thinks it. So I think in a lot of our minds, it was like, well, a fall still means 12 or 13. A fall outside of the first round entirely would be stunning, right? I mean, we can all agree.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a quarterback, especially because of the value of that 5th-year option, right? Like, it's been proven time and again, right? I mean, the Ravens, even though Lamar was injured the past couple of years, got the best bargain in football with him being on that 5th-year option, as opposed to being under if they had not taken him 32nd, he would have been playing with the franchise tag or a long-term deal right away. So that is no question, like, these next 10 picks will define how the league feels about Will Levis.
If he is not drafted by the Vikings, I have to wonder, and I just took a look at the second round.
Play, right?
I have to look at the Rams, who are picking 5th in the second round. Liam Cohen was their offensive coordinator. He knows this. He knows Will Levis incredibly well. He was also Will Levis's offensive coordinator.
11-0 in one-score games last year. Knocked out in their very first playoff game at home. Got the Giants 31-24. In an NFC that has been somewhat depleted, you do have to wonder, is this a spot where they could consider taking a quarterback? I feel like I've heard that mentioned a couple of times through the process of Miller shaking his head at me vigorously. I'm not saying they will take Will Levis. I don't know. I'm just saying their defense was bad. And I watched Daniel Jones just light them up. Yes, sir. And I got Emmanuel Ford gone, right? Christian Bell was gone. Devin Witherspoon was gone. Who's left? Joey Porter Jr. and my guy Maryland. And Spencer out there saying, Deontay Banks, who had a heck of a year, came back from shoulder injury in 2021, that will rail the season opposite Corey and Bennett, who's going to probably be a good third-round pick for somebody. So Deontay Banks and Joey Porter Jr., 2 solid corners still on the board.
Yeah, to me, this pick it's got to be a cornerback. They got rid of just about every corner they had, Patrick Peterson, everyone else. They need somebody that can cover. They were just about statistically last in every passing category. They have to find somebody that can cover. Defensive coordinator Brian Flores needs cover guys. He's going to want to play man. Right now, he doesn't have the people to do it. This has to be a corner.
Deontay Banks is in that athletic super freak category now, as far as his explosive qualities, explosive movement qualities. And you're right, with Brian Flores, look, I'm going to run a lot of zero blitz. Yes. I need a guy who can get up on the line of scrimmage and will not blitz. You get beat on the 9 ball, the next play you're getting up there, and you know what you're doing? You're pressing him again. And then you come back and you make the play. That's Deontay Banks. I've seen him do it. I've seen him get beat, come right back, get right back up in the wide receiver's face. Explosive athlete. He would fit perfectly with they need. They are taking their entire allotment of time. Now let's take a look at your best available. Brought to you by Courtyard Marion. Look at the teams in the back end. The first round did not need a quarterback, but somebody trades back in. Will Levis, we see it score. Boomer's rise, and the Bengals took 3 players in the first round. Boomer split to the second round in 1984. Brett Favre split to the second round. So it happened before the quarterback. Jimmy Clark did too. That didn't work out well for me. But we'll see how it goes with Will Levis. But Will's right there after the quarterback, I believe. Nolan Smith, an outside factor, who you can move around. Could be off ball as well. Dalton Kincaid and Michael Mayer as well. I got Notre Dame still on the board, but not yet had to play that drafted. Deontay Banks, Lewis, and I put across back. There's Jordan Addison, where he had 100 catches with Kenny Pickett. The USC with Caleb Williams, who may be the #1 pick overall next year out of USC. But quarterback, how about that name right there, Jordan Addison? One of the best round runners in this draft. I mean, you think about him like awesome. Think about him right up here with Justin Jefferson. That would be a sweet pick. Defense makes sense because the value kind of matches up for me, right, with the need. I mean, wide receivers are always good because Jefferson needs help, especially now that Adam Thielen has moved on. He needs somebody. He needs a running mate because you can take one with wide receiver after the game. This will be an interesting pick. I don't see how they go away from defense, but I wouldn't be shocked considering some of the quality wide receivers that's going. And I'm looking at the need. Jacksonville's got a corner need. The Giants have a corner need. So you got teams right now that look, I'm sure, Porter Jr. and Deontay Banks. Right. And so this will be the Vikings making their pick here. Again, we are expecting them perhaps to go on that defensive side of the ball. You never know. You mentioned the departure of Adam Thielen. So
all right, here we go.
Wide receiver. The Vikings who had a big regular season and then a very disappointing.
Minnesota now making their pick.
The commissioner starting to make his way towards the podium here where he'll make the announcement. A big acquisition in Minnesota this year. The new defensive coordinator, Brian Flores, the one-time head coach in Miami. So we'll see if they go that way. Here's the commissioner.
All right, we go.
With the 23rd pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Jordan Addison, wide receiver, USC.
All right, so Vikings select Jordan Addison. I think the Warriors are dwindling on chances here.
Yeah, and I'm not concerned about the size. A lot of people have made something about it, and Kim only weighs 170 pounds, 5'11", though. For me, I look at it, he was my #1 receiver in this draft. A guy that can play inside, a guy that can play outside. He talked about 2021. He won the Biletnikoff. He said, you know what? I'm going to leave Pittsburgh. I'm going to go play with a different quarterback. I'm going to go out west. I'm going to play with Caleb Williams. Guess what? He still went out there, and he put up numbers. He can do it all from any spot on the field. Speed to burn, to meet the versatility, where you can line it.
Versatility is like, when you look at receivers and how they're drafting now, like back in my draft, our draft HD, when it was like 2008, they were going for like 6'4",
the big guys.
6'5" guys, right? And the corners started getting bigger. And now the prototypical corner is now 6'1", 6'2". So how do you beat a taller, longer corner? Quick guys who can move, change direction. That's what you're getting with Jordan Addison, and that's what you're getting with this run of receivers and Najigba, Zay Flowers, and it's probably going to continue as well.
I also like the fact that as we see highlights across the board for him at USC and Pitt, let's remember he had to learn 2 offenses over the course of his career, thrived in both. Like I think sometimes when we talk about system fit, like we always talk about guys' ability to move up, there's a hold on.
Breaking news.
24 and
They feel as though they really separate themselves by the guy who can go outside and he can win the one-on-one when you know you're throwing it to him. And Jordan showed that this year at USC. Last year, Pitt, much more inside work where he tore people apart. Once again, that was tonight's prospect resume brought to you by Indeed. I'm being told we have another trade. The Giants will be on the
So the Giants trade with the Jaguars. Two back-to-back with back-to-back. Okay, so there you go. Trade alert. Giants trade with the Jaguars.
He's incredible.
Any words?
You're a spy. Now streaming on Apple TV+.
There's a lot of anticipation leading up to the draft. My hopes is that I look the best there. Jewelry plays a big part. You know, it's the last step to making your outfit stand out. I like to be shining and blinging. It just makes me feel good. It makes me feel I can take over any room. I'm gonna cherish this every time I look at it and think back to the draft.
The all-new Prius. Toyota. Let's go places.
Sticky flow, catching breaks, and second cleans. You never forget the way some things taste. Great taste, 96 calories. Tastes like Miller time.
Lowe's knows the most powerful tool in your toolbox. It's an app that saves you time and money.
That's why we got an app that lets you build an instant quote. Reorder your favorites.
And track your MVP's Pro Rewards.
Give it hard so you can stay on the job, get it done, and move on to the next. You got this, and we got you.
Good morning. I'm Peter Davidson. Not Pete, because at 11 a.m. I like to keep it toned down and simple, just like Taco Bell breakfast. With fluffy eggs, sausage, melty cheese, and a crispy hash brown and a grilled tortilla. Nothing too wild, just like me. Peter Davidson. Isn't that right, co-host Rhonda?
Co-host?
You're on Breakfast with Peter. You're my co-host.
Are we on TV right now?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
George Foreman ain't no new champ. He is the new chump.
George Foreman is a great American story.
He made me something more. We can do it again.
The risk isn't losing, it's dying. A 5-star film. George Foreman.
Interesting piece. Let me bring in my expert.
So many scratches.
Those are from my car keys.
Such a rich history. This won't do well at auction, but
At AT&T, it's worth a brand new Samsung Galaxy S23.
Wait, really? What about this?
AT&T deal is that everyone gets a free new Samsung Galaxy S23 when the Galaxy phone's rated. Any year, any condition.
We're back in Kansas City. The 2023 NFL Draft has had quite a few trades, and we just had another. Adam Schefter, what are the details?
Well, Brady, the Giants are trading a few picks to move up one slot, and the Giants have needed help in the secondary. They've been looking hard in this draft, and this will be their chance by moving up one slot to improve their secondary. This would be the spot to do it, Brady.
Well, we'll see now if that's the direction they go. We are coming off 4 consecutive wide receivers selected, which, by the way, I'll mention quickly, is the first time that's ever happened in the common draft of 4 consecutive wide receivers. And so now the Giants, if they do want help in that secondary, now what direction should they
Well,
roll?
we thought Minnesota being on that corners. They passed. They took wide receiver Jordan Haskell, which is a key for the Vikings. They got offense over defense, but for Wink Martindale and the Giants, they got to get a corner. And I think when you look at Joey Porter Jr. from Penn State and my guy Deontay Banks from Maryland, folks, that's what makes sense. You're going to go up. Jacksonville, to me, could take a corner. But then there's tight end Boston Kincaid, tight end Michael Bear. Dallas is sitting there maybe with a tight end. It's interesting to see what happens there. I'm a Maryland guy with Deontay Banks. Came back with that shoulder injury and had a heck of a season.
Alrighty. The pick is in.
Play man-to-man coverage, be physical, and have the mentality that I'm going to win down after down. This fits the defensive coordinator's personality. Deontay Banks fits. Wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. Yeah, I mean, he's just a super athlete. Yes, man. I mean, the kid has like certain athletes that when you watch them and you watch them change direction, it just looks different. It looks different with Deontay Banks. And he is not scared as far as sticking his nose in there against the run either. And you know how Wink Martindale is. Exactly. He likes those kind of guys, those kind of competitors. It would fit perfect. He fits perfect in this team. Yeah. I mean, just maybe pound for pound one of the most explosive players in this draft.
So you saw the celebration in the Giants draft room there as they have made their pick, and here's how the announce it. The Bills will be next up.
Here we go.
The Jacksonville Jaguars have traded the 24th pick to the New York Giants. With the 24th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Deontay Banks, defensive back, Maryland.
Mel loves him because he was born and raised in Baltimore and stayed home to go to college. Started 8 games as a freshman, never looked back.
Ball Giants. Now, Deontay Banks from Maryland, corner, is now the pick for the Giants. And guys, this speaks to why they moved up one.
Yeah.
They moved up one because they knew. I mean, Intel would say they run low on corners. We knew they were going to go secondary. They needed a guy.
Yeah, a confrontational corner. Yes. A physical corner in the form of Deontay Banks. This is not. This is the exact opposite of the polished, ready corner. Not to say that he doesn't have polish, but a dude who will bring.
Lyles, you like this one?
I love it. I mean, hey, and look, I hate doing this, but we've had to do it for a couple picks. Devin Witherspoon probably be in the first. Hey, man, you know a dude is good if he's getting drafted in the first round out of Maryland. All right, like that just is what it is. It's been tough sledding over there, obviously, for the past handful of years, but he is seriously the type of player where if he would have had another year in college, he would have been in the portal because somebody else was going to take him.
Yeah, I think when you look at their
Another
secondary,
trade. So
3 slots are
they have
solid.
traded.
Adoree Jackson, I actually played with Adoree in Tennessee, but he's a guy that
So,
played
okay, so
both
the
sides of the ball
Bills
back then.
have moved up.
Got hurt
in
doing punt
trade.
returns last year. Coach Dable, please keep the man off of punt returns. But also they signed Bobby McCain. They have Xavier McKinney. Now you add Deontay Banks to this mix.
Wow.
That can bring that toughness, that aggressiveness, just that solidism that you need from the secondary, and especially a corner. You want that type of guy when you I just think just to be tough-minded.
Yep.
Like, be tough-minded, and, you know, when somebody hit him for a big play, forget it.
Yeah,
Move on to the next one.
A press guy, too. Like, he can do a lot of man coverage. He can also play a little. I think do we have a. All right. Look,
It's solid, is it?
No. You wind up. I'm going to hold it for you.
I think it is.
Thank you.
we got to get on. We got to work on this pea shooting.
Yeah, it ain't no basic.
We almost broke your hand.
Wait,
I'll be honest with
you want to try? You want to?
No, man. A real man never tells. Shows his real capabilities.
Bills have traded pick 27 and 130 in exchange for pick 25. So the Bills have moved up 2 spots.
Oh, all right.
That was fun. The Jags were on the clock at that point, but the Jags already traded down. Then they traded down again. The Jags are in this weird situation we're not used to saying with Jacksonville, where like they're in pretty good shape. Like they didn't walk into this draft saying, "Oh my God, we need this," right? So it gives them a little bit of opportunity. So the Bills are now on the clock. They must have felt the need to move up for someone. Again, I will say we are seeing a run on corners
and wideouts.
We're running thin at all of these spots. So 2 areas of depth. Also, I am stunned. Oh, Field tweeted.
The Bills traded
Field. Field tweets trades from the back. Look, Field did. Just have an honest moment here for the like we got no commercials, so if you got to tinkle, you got to tinkle. Field just sprinted off set, so I'm presuming he had to tinkle. He took his phone with him, he closed his laptop, and then he tweeted out the details. So I had to give the trade details, as it were, while he was tweeting. I respect it. I just respect the fact that he tweeted it while he was doing it. Field's back on set.
First round pick in my book, Yates.
Yeah. Can we also, though, quickly, like, this is supposed to be one of the, when we talk about positions of strength, everybody said, oh my God, the tight ends, we all agree. We've been, every 4 or 5 minutes, it feels like we're like, well, it could be one of these 2 tight ends. Still sitting on. So, you know.
Sorry. Big thing I'd say, though, and I think I got into this a little bit before the draft, I think people conflated power and numbers with top-end talent. There are a lot of good tight ends in this class. There's not one. I know Kyle Pitts obviously hasn't been tremendous. Last year, the injury really bothered him, but like, there's nobody who even can breathe the same air that Kyle Pitts breathes. Like, there's not a dominant tight end prospect in this year's class. There's like 5 or 6 guys that are all merit, like,
alrighty,
25 to 80, but not one that I was like, yeah, like that guy looks like an immediate day one difference maker, like Kyle Pitts can be.
And but if you've got Brock Bowers lingering next year, you're like, oh, maybe I could wait.
But that could happen soon.
I mean, that is actually a really smart point when we talk about, because we're talking about with quarterbacks too. Like, how many teams that need a quarterback are looking at him and saying, well, Caleb Williams and Drake May, you know. So here's your best available. Will Levis still on the board. Nolan Smith still on the board. Dalton Kincaid, we just mentioned. Deonte Banks was just drafted, so you can cross him off of that. And Joey Porter Jr. So if you need
0.1% chance to be available at pick number 25, Will Levis.
We're starting to run to the end of the list
still
of
available.
First round talent that will be there. Obviously, the Bills.
Because they went in knowing that in the first round there were 3 sure quarterback spots, no quarterbacks here, so it's like a game of musical chairs. But the family's doing okay. Melvin mentioned that Levis plays with a chip on his shoulder. They said this plays right into that. And his mom, Beth, was a big-time soccer player at Yale. She said, the NFL likes drama. You're welcome, NFL. Sounds like she has a chip on her shoulder, too.
We're getting with Bryce Young, Will Anderson, and Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, and Anthony Richardson go.
So the Bills pick is in. 3-hour mark of the draft. Here we go.
Is it the end of the world? Heck no. I mean, how many quarterbacks we have to mention that went from the second round order became actual player in the NFL? I thought the Boomer Esiason here. He's like, my first year in 1984, there's a little box on the table, Boomer and I'm mentioning Dan Fouts and Johnny Unitas for Boomer. But don't get down, just get motivated. And look at that with Boomer. Brett Favre's another one. We saw Aaron Rodgers 3 weeks before the draft was projected to go number 1, end up 124. As you look at the teams that have yet to select tonight here in round 1, it seems almost impossible that any of them would take a quarterback. And certainly, we frequently see teams trade into the end of round 1 to take a quarterback, and it is certainly possible you will see that. So when you consider Dallas and Jacksonville, Cincinnati, New Orleans, Philadelphia, Kansas City,
All right, here we go.
Jacksonville Jaguars have traded the 25th pick to the Buffalo Bills. With the 25th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Dalton Kincaid, tight end, Utah.
All right, Dalton Kincaid, let's go. Here we go. The first pick that the fans actually want. Here you go.
Yeah, I'll tell you, we talked about the one game for CJ Stroud. We talked about one game for Dalton Kincaid. Got everybody's attention. USC game. This season, he has 16 targets, 16 catches. He's 16 for 16 against USC. That's pretty doggone good. He got, I'll tell you, a teammate misfortune. Grant Keithley's a heck of a player going back to Utah. Grant Keithley got hurt. Dalton Kincaid stepped up in Keithley's absence and had a heck of a year. This was a year of the shine for Dalton Kincaid. He took advantage of every opportunity. He is the ultimate seam stretcher with great hands. Shot down.
He is compared to Zach Ertz.
Blocking things to keep improving. He's going to work on that. But he's a guy, boy, they move him around. They move him outside. With his 6'3.5" frame, 246 pounds. Great high-hand eye.
All right, Cowboys are on the clock, 5-minute mark.
So when he got that opportunity, the Grant Keithley's injury.
Yeah, just a ton of production over the last 2 years. 106 catches, 1,400 yards, 16.
The Cowboys, they don't really need that many defenders, but can they pick up a tight end? There's Luke Musgrove, and Michael Myers still on the top list here.
So what is he going to do? He's going to work between the numbers. He's going to work between the numbers, run the seam, run the wide basics, which are the 10 yards and cut across the field. He's tough after the catch. He will compete as a blocker. You can use him as an F. You can use him as a U, meaning line him up at fullback, put him, off the ball as a tight end blocker across the formation. He'll compete at all that stuff. Ken Dorsey will find some real creative ways to use this next shot down the low. All right, so the Dallas Cowboys are now on the clock, and Chris Mortensen has inside for us. Well, with the pick of Dalton Kincaid to the Bills, and the Bills jumping in front of the Cowboys, this is about where we expect these tight ends to go. Now, for the Cowboys, I don't know who they're going to pick, but I do know tight end is a need. And the one guy who most resembles Jason Witten, one of the all-time greats for the Cowboys, tight end, is Michael Mayer of Notre Dame. As Malcolm will tell you, he's a full-service tight end.
All right, Michael Mayer. That might be a big choice for the Cowboys here.
In line in the tight end, block, and still make catches down the field. At some point, we're going to see these tight ends come off the board between the rest of the night and in the second round.
Here's Jerry Jones and their head coach.
At the beginning of this process, that people were mocking Michael Mayer to go much earlier in the draft than this, so he'd be a very interesting option here for Dallas. Yeah, he's a throwback, Michael Mayer. He's a tough kid boy. He doesn't have the longest arms, like the short arms, like modern people. You watch him play with the stretch. He plays too much.
They had 2 minutes, 50 seconds left. Jacksonville is next up, and then Cincinnati, of course, is in the hole. There is the Cowboys watch party.
He's a throwback to the 80s as a tight end.
Yeah, to me, he's the most complete tight end in the draft as far as somebody that can line up on the line of scrimmage and block and also work the passing game. He's not going to wow you with the numbers. He's not going to wow you with the 40 time. You talk about the arms, the length, all that. But he reminds me so much of Jason Witten, a guy that can just get over. Jason Witten is going to Hall of Fame on point route. And it's wow. The ability for that tight end to get the option, and then the hands, the sure hands. It doesn't matter when he's covered, he's really not covered. Go up, catch the football with your hands. Talk about being a body catcher. He's not. He's going to go up and snatch the football with his hands. Reminds me of somebody else that they said. He's not an athlete. He's not quite fast. All Jason Witten did was go to Dallas and have a Hall of Fame career, catch the football with his hands, always in the right spot. But what he really made hay smell is when it came time to be a blocker, came time to run the football, he can stick his nose in there. You can line him up there wide, you can bring him across, he can block. And for a team that wants to run the football, like McCarthy said he wants to, this squad, it sure looks familiar. How ironic would this be for Dallas to have one tight end in the Hall of Fame and Jason Witten and go draft another with the same type characteristics as Michael Mayer?
Yeah, it was kind of uncanny how similar they looked. When I was watching them, I'm going, I remember when Jason came out.
All right, so Jason Witten replacement with Michael Mayer. He retired us a couple years ago. So bringing in his replacement, a little bridge player in between in Dalton Schultz, who left after this season.
He was constantly getting free releases, and then he just put people around on the second level, and he had those great hands. And he is a good route runner now. He's very good at the top of routes. Very, very good at that.
And they made their pick, it looks like.
Too easy of a pick for them. The Cowboys are taking a lot of time to make this decision here, and so one wonders if perhaps we will see a trade. Certainly something.
Here we go. The pick is in.
And so we'll see which direction they choose to go, as they had a good season last year. Dak Prescott taking, in most people's estimation, a step back.
With Jacksonville now on the clock.
No longer there. He's now in Los Angeles with the Chargers. Booker, you mentioned that they're looking to run the football more this year, and obviously the tight end fits nicely into that speed.
Yeah, they talked about not being able to try to outscore everybody. And Mike McCarthy got a lot of flack for those comments. They're like, huh? The name of the game is score points. But at some point, you have to win with how you want to win, your philosophy, how you want to do it. And so, yeah, it makes sense to get a tight end in this situation.
All right, so today's draft is going to take about 3 hours and 40 minutes, I would say, maybe a little bit more than that. Well, tomorrow night will be even longer, and I think maybe Saturday might last about 7 hours, I guess. But I will be covering every single bit of it. I'll be on live here on YouTube and Twitch.
I mean, defensive tackle just seems to be a reach of the people that are available right now. But, so look, I mean, when you know that in the NFC, that you're going to have to be able to control the line of scrimmage, especially in their division against Philadelphia, maybe defensive tackle makes sense.
Who's the player that came in, and it was kind of like a chess piece. Okay,
so the tight ends available is Luke Musgrave, out of Oregon State, and Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame. So those are the two tight ends left on the board. And then they could also make that shocking pick with the defense, of course, with their strong defense with Micah Parsons and Dante Flowers. And here we go.
With the 26th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Mazi Smith, defensive tackle.
At the course of the draft,
what?
Including this
Mazi Smith from Michigan.
Mazi Smith. All that time talking about tight ends, and I was wrong. Mazi Smith is the pick. What do we think, boys?
Well, you want a big, stout, interior, run-stuffing defensive lineman? Mazi Smith is your pick, and this guy is an absolute freak athlete. If you guys don't read the column every year by Bruce Feldman on The Athletic about the best freak athletes in all of college football, this guy, I think Mazi Smith was number one. I mean, just obviously is just toying with interior offensive linemen and some of the highlights that we are seeing so far. Massive need
so now
for the Cowboys.
You have Jaguars on the clock, 7 minutes left for them.
Recent seasons, but they needed a guy who can be kind of a great and grind defensive lineman for that front there. They've got obviously a lot of athletes in that defense, but Mazi Smith fills maybe literally a couple of gaps for them.
I think a pick that will also allow a guy like Michael
They're definitely
Parsons
thinking about tight ends there with Michael Mayer.
That much more
but unfortunately, they did
and
not
also
pick him up.
have the ability to make that much more plays moving forward.
Yeah, if you want an interior anchor, that man did 22 reps at 325. 22 reps of a bench press at 325 pounds.
That's
all right.
Like my shoulders
At his size, which is, if I can say, a heavy 40, like a heavier than normal 340, an unnaturally dense 340. He was able to do a 33.5 vertical leap.
That's absurd.
He is a
freak athlete. And for the Cowboys, like I actually think that like you go back and look at the back record in the first round, it actually stood the test of time. With the Cowboys are under a different microscope than basically every franchise in the sport because of some of it is most of it's self-inflicted, right? Jerry invites a lot of it, but like they have done a pretty darn good job in the first round. And last year they took a player in Tyler Smith, who people thought was a little bit of a reach in the first round in Tulsa. Worked out really well for him. By the end of the season, he looked like a legit left tackle that was so promising that Tyron Smith, who'd been their left tackle for a decade, moved to the right side for the first time ever. So the Cowboys, they tend to figure it out in the first round. I wouldn't be surprised if Mazi Smith helps them a lot in terms of their run stuffing.
I also like, I don't know, durability, dependability. Started 28 games over the past 2 seasons. Also had 0 penalties in his career. Like, there's just, like, to me, I just read that, it just feels like that's staggering. Like, you're playing for Michigan, you're not, like, there seems like there's an opportunity to make a mistake somewhere. I just love that level of efficiency.
Yeah, I actually would not hate it if, like, my new defensive tackle had, like, a handful of penalties.
Help you about.
Well, which penalties?
Just a little edge. Maybe a little personal foul every once in a while. Yeah. They're in a position of power, right? The Cowboys defense. And what Mazi Smith, to your point, strong, interior anchor, could do a little better from a pass rush perspective, but with Micah Parsons, you don't need to, right? So they're like filling little blind spots in the defense that's going to help them continue to kind of rise up.
Eat up that space.
Yes,
Eat up that space to allow other guys to eat even more.
Absolutely.
Sweet baby Jesus, the Jags made a pick. I'm just letting you know the pick actually, and it's been the great conundrum of the game.
They must have had a player. They just moved down 3 spots. They must have had somebody at 20.
The all-new Prius. Toyota. Let's go, baby.
What you could make analyzing big base data no big deal?
Go on.
Well, what if you partner with IBM and Red Hat, use a hybrid cloud solution to connect data across multiple...
Jaguars pick is in, so that means the Bengals are on the clock.
Yep.
Compliance standards?
Mm-hmm.
So they get the insights they need
Yep.
in real time
Check.
to make quick decisions.
Check. And check. That's the hybrid cloud solution IBM and the Global Bank created. What would you like? IBM, let's create a perfectly poached egg, English muffin, shredded beef, and roasted peppers, creamy hollandaise. New Eggs Benedicts in 4 delicious flavors, only from IHOP. Download the app and earn free food with every order.
Hit the road, we're gonna beat the traffic.
Maybe we'll just beat the traffic tomorrow?
Just about up. The schedule is released. Lots of great storylines. A rivalry game just the way we like it. All eyes on the quarterback. The true revenge game. Flips him in, and it is caught. If you're a fan of football, this is the day.
Back in Kansas City and time out for a draft moment, delivered by Pizza Hut, in this case a flurry of them. That was the moment when Bryce Young heard his name called as the first pick in the draft, and then came C.J. Stroud, and then so many others that have come behind it. Special moments here all night long in Kansas City, enthusiasm all over the country as the NFL draft has continued filled with a variety of fabulous moments. And it's time now, Mel, to take a look at your best available still remaining in tonight's class, which is brought to you by Courtyard by Marriott. The injuries have affected this list a little bit. Will Levis with the toe, Ward talking about that banged up 60 since October 1st. Throughout the rest of the season was Will. Kyle Pruitt, love the kid. He'll be a steal for somebody. Noah Smith with a torn pectoral. 8 games in. Puts his head down just a bit. Joey Porter Jr., they got a little handsy at times. I thought he improved on that. Still available. Miles Murphy, defensive end, has that pass rush ability. And then Anton Harrison, offensive tackle, left tackle. Started the first game this year at right tackle. Like his athleticism, like his length. Well, he has a good career in Oklahoma. Like he said, next offensive tackle will come off the board. Jacksonville has traded back a couple of times, and we'll see what player it is, Lewis, that they've decided to identify here. Obviously, the star young quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, who really came into his own a year ago.
Yeah, make sure you protect him, right? Take care of that young man that has a block on the offensive line.
Here he is, Roger Goodell with the draft.
All right, here we go, guys.
With the 27th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Anton Harrison, tackle, Oklahoma.
All right. Honestly surprising.
Lineman from Washington, D.C., played mostly left tackle, started 23 games at that spot the last 2 seasons. Another one who played basketball in high school, so he's got the feet and he's got plenty of power now. He does. You look at that, that's all up there. He had that one game at right tackle this year. That was the first game starting the season opener against UTEP at right tackle. The remaining 11 games were at left tackle. That's where he's played his career. He played both in the NFL. 6'4" and a quarter, 315 pounds.
All right, so a great pick here.
Run blocker, drove defenders off the ball. I thought he sealed the combo blocks. He was really effective as a pass blocker with footwork. The technique, the ability to mirror, he did that. He got that movement in the run game. He was a pretty complete offensive lineman. When he was at his best, he played, I thought, had a will this season. He was on my big board, ended up at 26 on the top 250, 300 big board. Kenton Harrison, 26. He was the next offensive tackle. I think the ability to play right tackle or left tackle makes it valuable. And who you're protecting the franchise down there at Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, and I think he's an above-average athlete at the tackle position. And this makes sense when you figure out the report came out that Jaguars left tackle Cam Robinson could be facing a multi-game suspension. So now, if you're Doug Peterson and you're the head coach and you're the Jaguars, you want to make sure if and when Cam Robinson does get suspended, you have a young tackle in the fold. So this makes perfect sense.
Actually, Adam Schefter has the very latest with some perspective on that. Schefter?
Well, and that's the whole thing here, Greedy. Cam Robinson, the Jaguars' former franchise player, is facing a suspension for violating the performance enhancement drug policy. And it's going through the process right now. He's fighting it, but the chances are ultimately he's going to face some type of multi-game suspension. That had to figure into the Jaguars thinking, although they also like to play on an awful lot. But Cam Robinson is prepared to open the season with Adam Green.
So in that regard, Lewis, it makes even more sense. Yeah, it sure does. Because he has right tackle, left tackle versatility, although he's probably going to be more comfortable on the left side. They'll plug him in right there. This is the thing this is the only problem I have with Harrison. All the physical talent that you have, as fast as you can run, as big as you are, when you let your hands go, you have a heavy punch. He wasn't like, when you watch some of these other tackles in this draft, they were trying to score people, like physically impose their role. Darnell Wright is the reason why he went 9 overall. Because he tried to play nasty. This kid has the physical ability. The same kind of physical ability as some of the higher rated tackles. But it wasn't, he didn't have that same kind of nasty depth. And that's just the case. If they can bring that out of him, get him to play with a little bit more pad level, sink his hips a little bit more, so he can come out of his hips and play with more power, they have themselves a steal.
He doesn't have that tenacity, but what he does have is the availability of a guy that size. When he gets off balance, when he gets beat, he can recover. And I think that's something
There we
you can't
go.
teach.
All right, so the Cincinnati Bengals will be next up here. We have 4 picks remaining in round 1 of this NFL draft and barring any more trades, and certainly we may still see some. The history is going to be any guy, but we have the Bengals and the Saints, then the Eagles and Kansas City will wrap it up, and that's why one person has left here tonight. Frequently, as we've been here, we've seen folks leave earlier, but for the first time, the defending Super Bowl champions are hosting the draft, and so the fans are waiting for that.
All right, here we go.
With the 28th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Miles Murphy, defensive end, Clemson.
Ooh, this is a pretty interesting one. Pretty interesting one here.
That months ago was being mocked by many to be a top 10 pick. Over the course of the process in the draft seems to have fallen. What comes into this? What do we think, gentlemen?
Love it. I mean, one of the things that Clemson has been known for the last, decade at this point, has been defensive line play, getting to the quarterback, and that guy does it just about as well as anybody.
Big thing.
Get off.
Yeah.
He's such a freak athlete that he could rely on the athleticism a lot. The ACC, as we know, it has not exactly been a stellar conference.
Okay, so Miles Murphy, pretty interesting talent. His comparison is Bradley
Go to
Chubb.
Cincinnati, play behind Trey Hendrickson, right? Like they've got some pieces up front in Cincinnati that can handle some of the more veteran reps. Like I like this pick. This is an upside pick. And the Bengals, another team that I've been talking about. We talked about how some recent draft has helped teams like the Jaguars turn things around. Cincinnati has earned that benefit of the doubt as well. I like Miles Murphy. This is a spot now where a lot of the players are kind of interchangeable in terms of overall value. Like Murphy could have gone 38th and it wouldn't have surprised me. So 28th, good spot there for him.
I love it. They beef up this defense, and obviously in this division, you got to go against a freshly paid Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, guys who run around. And again, for Cincinnati, Bengals fans in general, like you're in a completely different world than you've been in the last 30 years. They are in also a position of luxury that now they're adding things to the pieces to kind of maintain their position as the top dogs in the AFC North, which is, again, it's just something that most Bengals fans would never even imagine possible.
I feel like he is similar to Tyree in this. I feel like there's room to grow.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of potential that really hasn't been developed there that I think if he ends up in the right place like Cincy, you're going to see it.
Well, and what have you guys all stressed throughout the course of this? There's certain areas that you can't have enough of, right? Like if you can bring somebody else that can be rotational value out of the bottom of the first round, particularly somebody that they don't have to come in and be a superstar out of the gates. They just got to give you snaps or give you fresh legs. That can matter a lot.
How did their season end? Their season ended against the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes playing on half an ankle. It didn't sack him once.
Yep.
So, you know, it's weird. You don't normally want to sort of to shake your roster up and then retool it simply off of one player or one team. But I feel like we are seeing some like big game hunting at the top in the AFC. Those are like, you know what? We got to have another middle of the field tight end to keep up with the Chiefs. The Bengals are saying we got to find another pass rusher to slow down the Chiefs.
271 pounds, runs a 4.530.
Well,
it's fine.
My God.
The athleticism is unbelievable, but I like the speed converted to power. And you've seen it getting off the ball and then chugging the offensive lineman with one arm.
Yeah.
That long arm's nuts.
And that's demoralizing.
We're starting to see it now in the NFL a lot more, I think, is I'm starting to see more and more like they're going to be older players because the COVID rules. There's going to be, you know, surprises, but athletes are not. Like, you're getting athletes only in the first round now, right? Like, we're seeing some guys that, like, I'm looking at the board right now, and I'm trying to find and no matter if you think Emmanuel Forbes a little too high, whatever. Like, even Jack Campbell a little too high, but like, all of them are athletes, all really good athletes in the NFL. You know, like in prior years, like this is a little bit of a flash. But you know, Cleveland Farrell went high. He went fourth. That was way higher.
I'm right here.
Sorry, but like that, he wasn't like a premium athlete, right? Like,
is that the Raiders?
Athleticism is rating supreme right now in the NFL.
Your Raiders. All right, so
that blood. Come on.
this is an interesting nugget for you here. All right, we are on the clock right now.
I don't think so. Thank you. This is Jamie Foxx. You're straight. You can do anything you want. Really? I was missing who's this touch. It was nice to meet you. I think I got something. How many of these do we eat? All of them. You look different. You look different too. How so? Is it my human hand? Hold up, Strays. In theaters. Rated R.
Trinity Thomas is Belfast in NCAA gymnastics, maybe even in the world.
Feels like a change is coming.
There have been 80 years of draft. Thousands of names called.
Jerry Rice. Eli Manning. Ross Gardner.
But there's nothing like hearing yours.
A spectacular moment for this young man. The 2023 NFL Draft is presented by Courtyard by Marriott, the official hotel of the NFL, and in part by the new movie Strays, in theaters June 9th, rated R, and Subway. Subway's upping their game with the All-Star Subway Series menu. Ordered by name or number, and they'll do the rest. As everyone here today would, this city of Kansas City, one of the great sports cities in America, they love their Chiefs and they have shown up in a huge way tonight. 125,000 people the estimated attendance tonight, and not one of them has left. Because for the first time, the home team is the defending Super Bowl champs, which means they will make the final pick of the first round, which we are rapidly approaching tonight. We have a few tips before we get there. The New Orleans Saints, their pick is in. Then we will have the two Super Bowl teams, the Eagles, who made one pick already tonight, and then Kansas City will make theirs. The Saints pick is in. Lewis, very quickly, what direction should they be looking? They need more pass rush on defense. You know, play a job out on their defensive ends. They're getting a little bit older at the position. They got to keep it up on the defensive line. The time of change for New Orleans, obviously, in the last few years. We did bring in Derek Carr to play quarterback for them this year, so they will go
and I see the commissioner making his way out here. The NFC South, a division really in the state of Florida. Let's see what the Saints are doing. Here's the commissioner.
With the 29th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Brian Brzee, defensive tackle, Clemson.
Back-to-back Clemson Tigers now. You just mentioned that he's been on the radar a long time.
Okay, so Brian Brzee taken.
He came in 2020 with Thomas Murphy and Trenton Simpson, linebacker. He looked like an athlete. He was going to be a top 10 pick, top 15 pick. At worst, he had a great 2020 season. 6.5 tackles lost. He got sacked. He ended up with 4.5 sacks that year. Forced the fumble. He was really active along the interior. Really got after 2020 starts out the season. Then the ACL. Then this past year, his sister passed away. He has a kidney infection. And then he was really active along the interior. Really got after 2020 starts out the season. Then the ACL. Then this past year, his sister passed away. He has a kidney infection. And then he looked rejuvenated at the combine. Ran 4.93 at 6. He got about 6'5.5", 300 pounds. He looked like Brian Brzee was back like he was in 2020. So I think they're going to get a kid here who would now talk about what he means to that defense. Who you mentioned? Number one need for the Saints defense attack. Yeah, they need pass rush on the inside to help out Cam Jordan. They're getting a little old. They're getting a little long in the tooth on the defensive side. They need juice. They don't need him just to be a two-gapper. They don't need him to, well, obviously they need him to stop the run so they can get the third down. But they need this guy to be able to push the pocket on the inside and be disruptive. And as you were saying, hopefully he's healthy now and he's in a good space mentally to where he can really hit the ground running. Because last year, at different times, he looked like a shell of himself. He looked like somebody who really just needed to get the season over.
Just how to phrase this.
You know, to me, it brings a lot of scheme versatility because you can line them up at the one technique, which is right over the center. You line them up at the three technique over the guard. So New Orleans can play him anywhere they want to play him as long as they get the 2020 version of the first All-American. It's rare you see a guy that big that can run sub 540, that can move like that. They can unleash that, and now we still have Cam Jordan from off the edge. This could be a ferocious pass rush.
And so two teams remain last year's Super Bowl teams, the Eagles and then the Chiefs. Will wrap up round one. Jamel, take a look at your best available players tonight.
Anyway, the Eagles are now on the clock as the Saints picked up Brian Brzee out of Clemson. Will Levis might slide. The Eagles in Kansas City will not pick up any quarterbacks, obviously, so Will Levis will slide. But we do have Joey Porter Jr., cornerback Nolan Smith, outside linebacker, defensive end Keon White, and then tight end Michael Mayer. That might be picked up by Philadelphia or Kansas City. Let's wait and see.
We talked about him at tight end. Well, he could be a Dallas Cowboy. He was not Dallas Cowboys. Instead, went for defensive tackle Monty Smith out of Michigan. So Michael Mayer, also Luke Musgrave, tight end Oregon State, and Darnell Washington, tight end Georgia, still on the board. Only one tight end, Oklahoma tight end. Dalton Kincaid, former receiver, out of Utah, goes in the first round of all the other tight ends still on the board. And of course, we were looking there at the pictures of Will Levis, and it feels like every now and again we have one of these nights where there is a player whose name we expect to hear called much earlier, and in the case of Levis, at this moment, it appears he will have to wait until tomorrow, although there's still the possibility, we would assume, of a trade. Certainly the Eagles and the Chiefs are not going to take a quarterback.
Yeah, I think he was always going to be the fourth quarterback, and I think teams looked at him and said, okay, the last couple of years, the turnovers, the inconsistent play, and that's probably why you look at a guy like Will Levis, who was a projected early pick, as our graphic says, now he's falling down the board because his play isn't up to level as the other guy.
We also do have Brian Branch, safety from Alabama, still on the board. 6 feet, 190 pounds, compared to Jalen Petire.
They came from that two tight ends, two wide, the 12 personnel play action, heavy central offense, and he played that in Kentucky. Look, I think you're going to have to look for a scheme-specific team.
2 picks left.
They can really match up with his skill set.
10:40 p.m. Central Time. 2 picks left in the draft, so we'll most likely be going after 11 p.m.
Normally, he's running for 90 yards. He plays because he's a gutsy, tough kid, and he plays through pain. Well, there's no question about it. I don't know how you hold turnovers like Kentucky with the offensive line as bad as it was against Will Levis. we're not the 7th round yet. Yeah, we're only going into round 2. And I mentioned, I had Boomer aside, so I thought I talked to him. That I brought up Dan Fouts, Johnny Unitas, all the quarterbacks. So Boomer was down. He's a 2nd round pick. So 3 players in the 1st round. Ricky Hundley, linebacker, Pete Cox, defensive end, and Brian Blados, offensive tackle. Ahead of Boomer, he becomes the 4th pick of the Bengals in the 2nd round. We almost went to a track.
3 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock for the Eagles. It's gonna be a while, guys.
Let's talk about the Eagles then for a moment here. This is a team that has almost everything, and they obviously made an aggressive move earlier tonight to take Jalen Carter, who many believe is the best player in this draft, although so many questions surrounding him. So they make that pick earlier tonight. In what direction should they be looking here, Lewis?
I just wonder if here now it's about the secondary. Could it be a guy like Brian Brown?
Yes.
Could it be a corner? Because, I mean, really, they don't need, well, you never say you have too many defensive linemen. I don't think they're going to take a wide receiver. You know, the running back is off the board in the 1st round. The best 2 running backs are off the board. So they don't need that. They're solid along the offensive line. I think it's defense. I think it's secondary.
Well, you take a look at their draft room there as you see everyone sort of standing around. But still 2 minutes and change before the pick has to come in. It's an interesting move they made earlier tonight, moving up the spot to take Jalen Carter. So another really strong, powerful player.
All right, Eagles pick is in. The pick is in.
As a guard center, we can get the job done. Let's secondary just makes it. This football team, though, they love defensive linemen and pass rushers. Yeah, they love them. Yes, they love them. Been banging the drum for Nolan Smith all during the 1st round. Look, I had people tell me his tech's going to be fine. That's not a reason. And he's so fast off the edge. He plays so hard. He plays, and he gets about tabletop height coming around the corner. That when you talk about Von Miller comparison, yes, that's the get off that I'm talking about. He's slowly coming. I mean, it's out
very similar to like how Sean Reddick, what he did.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You may have just heard loud cheers behind us. That's because when the Eagles pick went in, the graphic popped up in the building that says the Kansas City Chiefs are now on the clock. And so that's why you're hearing so many of the cheers from the 125,000 fans who are here. I have not done this scientifically, but I think 124,000 of them are from Kansas City and are rooting for the Chiefs. It has been remarkable to see how excited this city has been, and understandably so. We're 2 months away from them celebrating a Super Bowl championship with a parade that culminated almost exactly where we're sitting right now.
The thing about Philly, I'm telling you, like in that Super Bowl, we're sitting there, we call it, we're watching the game, and we're going, we're a team that was ferocious rushing the passer. They can't get the passer. That had to stick. Like it'd be a thorn in their side.
All right, Eagles pick is in, and I think they are coming up to announce it.
True. You never have enough, right? The Eagles entering the stage with the commissioner is Donna Kelsey, the mom of Jason and Travis, to announce the Eagles pick. And there we are.
Joining me on stage now are some very special guests, content creators who you know from YouTube, Dude Perfect, and Jason and Travis's mom, Donna Kelsey.
The collaboration the world didn't know.
We didn't know it happened. We didn't know Mama Kelsey was going to join Dude Perfect.
I mean, this is a brilliant moment. This is a little pop in circumstance in the draft. Which, by the way, we're all thankful for. Many of us have covered the draft now for ESPN for several years in this format. Wouldn't happen without moments like this. Like, let's remember there was a period where they didn't even televise this stuff. So now it's become a phenomenon that people consume mock drafts on, and we build radio content around for months.
Respect to Dude Perfect, by the way.
Bro.
What a
great story.
They're on top of the world, huh? I believe they're Cowboys fans. This does seem kind of like heresy to me, but you know what? Donna Kelsey's about to throw a basketball off the top of a stadium and through a hoop from like 100 yards away, and we're all going to clap.
I'm here for it.
It's incredible.
Yep.
The Philadelphia Eagles have made their selection.
Go full dog. Go full dog. Oh, come on.
What exactly?
We need Gator Lobster Bark.
Hey, just get another Jordan dude.
Okay.
Get the band back together.
I just thought maybe you were going to give us like a bark or like.
And there's a third Kelsey brother we don't know about.
Yeah. There you go, man.
There it is.
I just like it when we spend several minutes talking about something and then it actually comes to fruition.
Look at the bubbly.
All right, Nolan Smith taken by
cream or white?
Eagles.
He's the top 3 tonight.
30th overall.
That is nice.
Yeah. I mean, talk about it. This is the guy that runs up 4-3. That is ridiculous.
And the Chiefs are now on the
White,
clock
he's
with
got
6 minutes left.
champagne, even before the draft pick comes out. He's got the red bottoms and the red tops. I don't know if HC has that.
So for everyone
He's definitely got the
who said the Philadelphia Eagles, because they lost their 2 coordinators,
nice pick.
aren't going to be right back in the thick of things, please stop talking. Because what they've been able to do in signing, Jalen Hurts, but getting ahead of the curve last year, taking Nakobe Dean, taking Jordan Davis. You look at this year's draft, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith. They're right there. They're not only trying to get back to the Super Bowl, they're actually trying to win the Super Bowl this season.
But that speaks to one thing that we've mentioned about several teams, right? When you pay your quarterback, you better nail the draft.
Yep.
Philly has nailed the draft last year. Philly looks like they have nailed the draft again this year. I mean, this is just benefit of the doubt that certain franchises.
Is this even real?
They start to do things right. They keep it simple, and they're not all going to work out. Nakobe Dean should have a bigger role this year, but barely saw the field last year. So we gave him a ton of flowers for that pick last year, and he was like a special teams guy for them. So maybe these things don't pan out as quickly as we expect them to. But Philly has a blueprint. You draft guys that are freak athletes, have played basically NFL defense already. In fact, there are 4 guys from the same team. I'm sure won't be anything they'll be disappointed about. So Philly is primed, despite losing a ton of players in free agency this offseason. They are so primed to make a deep run in what looks like a very weak NFC. The division will be fine, right? But the rest of the
Eagles drafted
this
from Georgia
conference,
defense last
Aaron
2
Rodgers
drafts:
gone,
Jalen Carter,
Tom Brady
Nolan Smith,
retired,
Jordan Davis,
Rams are still
and
rebuilding this thing.
Nakobe Dean. So
Eagles,
4
man, they are
Georgia
back up.
players just from
It's really hard to
defense
argue
last
against,
2 drafts.
and I don't
And
think people
reminder,
realize
they have
we're
picked a
not
lot of SEC
kidding.
players in
We
the
said
last 2
that Georgia
drafts.
defense in 2021 was the best of all time.
Yeah.
It's showing up in these picks. These are guys that were rotational players, some of
Guys
them on 2021's team, and they were just waiting for their turn to become first-round picks, right? Because you just can't pick all of them in round 1. That's absolutely just absurd.
Yeah.
Absolutely absurd. But they are that talented. And
I'm out.
it's unreal. These are the players to look at it like this, right? Alabama has dominated college football the past 15 years. These are the guys that stop that. These are the guys that put that to rest.
But the fact that it's happening again also, and you're right, they were all part of one defense a couple of years ago. It also speaks to what Georgia's doing right now. Like when people in college football say that Georgia is the new Alabama, I'm not taking Alabama off the throne. But I think what you have to acknowledge is that Georgia is recruiting at a level where it is not wild to consider that this is the new norm. Georgia's going to have 3 or 4 guys every year that are first-round caliber defensive players that can come out and absolutely crush anybody.
And then they get to go escape the high pressure of Athens and play in a relaxed environment like Philly.
So let me ask y'all a question. So tomorrow, the Eagles have the 62nd pick. If they take Kelee Ringo, if he's still there, I may just throw my pen and my highlighter up in there.
No. Kirby Smart, New Eagles defensive coordinator.
But
Not a Georgia.
I will pull this, and I hate it when TV people do this, but I'm going to do this for a second, so just kick me if you need to. We mentioned earlier we really like Jalen Carter to Philly because of the support group. Now they add another person to that support group. I just feel like all of this continues to just make me feel, not that my feelings matter, but it makes me feel better about Jalen Carter. It feels like just the right situation, because now you have guys that have been in the league for a second, they can help mentor. Also somebody that is still with him right now that knows what he's going through as a grieving person in this situation. Somebody else that lost a teammate. Somebody else that understands where they are in this process. It's almost like a therapy buddy. You end up with somebody that truly knows the issue you're living through right then. That just feels like it makes me even happier for Jalen Carter that that's where he ended up.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nolan Smith, I mean, again, we can't understate it enough. Overstate enough is that he is an incredible athlete. The things against him is he's a little lean. He's a little light, right? And
Intelligent,
strong,
too.
but incredible intelligence, great football character, high motor, plays to the whistle every time, you know, and it's like he runs a 4.3, 41-inch vertical leap. That's incredible. If he was a wide receiver or a corner with those numbers, you would say, oh, that's an explosive athlete. To be an edge rusher, I mean, the rich got richer.
Imagine coming out of the backfield, by the way. I get past Jordan
All right,
Davis.
so Chiefs have a minute
I get past
and
Jalen
8
Carter, and I look
seconds
up, and there's a
left
4.39
on
missile headed
the
at
clock. And the Chiefs pick is in. They just announced it. The pick is in. And yeah, it's a big deal here in Kansas City. As the first time the defending Super Bowl champions are at the draft in the home city. The draft's in the home city. So at Union Station, man, NFL draft, there's a big video board.
That's the way you draft. That's it value. You mentioned Felix Anudike-Uzomah. Should he go here tonight, it would be a dream. He's originally from Kansas City, so he would be the ultimate in local picks here. And again, this will be
Who could be picked? Could there be a secondary by Brian Branch, tight end Luke Musgrave, or Michael Mayer? Or will there be another defensive player taken like Joey Porter? We'll have to wait and see.
Again, as always, the defending Super Bowl champ will make it, and we are here in Kansas City where this celebration has continued straight up until tonight. They've also made a change at offensive coordinator, Lewis, with Eric Bieniemy no longer here.
Yeah, Matt Nagy now taking over the offensive coordinator role. He's someone who really, head coach Andy Reid got him into coaching when we were all in Philadelphia. And Matt is now, he's kind of like back in his comfort zone with people that he knows. He's college teammates with general manager Brett Beach. Look, this football team's just going to keep on humping because at the most important positions, they have nothing but alignment and unity. Head coach, general manager, offensive play caller, quarterback. It's all a perfect marriage going on right down here. What a great atmosphere to try and build a football team, man.
And the longer you think about it, again, Frank Clark, the absence, Chris Jones, we know he's dominant. You still need somebody to help Chris Jones up front. They need some juice coming off the edge. They got George Karlaftis from Purdue last year, more of a power gap. Where's the speed? Where's the fastball that Frank Clark brought off the edge?
The AFC is about as loaded, particularly with quarterback talent, as any conference has ever been at any time in the history of the
And here we go.
some sort of defense, whatever the case may be. Chiefs obviously as set as can be with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. The word dynasty thrown around a good deal in these parts and all across the NFL as we wait, Mel, for the pick to come in here and wrap up this very interesting and in the early stages, particularly fast-moving round one of the NFL.
Yeah, we've had one-soul positions. We had the 4 wide receivers going a row. Then you look at the defensive line. We had Ozzie Smith, and you had Miles Murphy, Brian Brzee. Like I say, you had guys sliding through like the Noah Smith dropped to the late first round. We're talking about Joey Porter.
So the Chiefs pick is in, just waiting on the Commissioner Roger Goodell to come out.
Keon Williams interesting today out of Georgia for the second round in the area. And then Brian Branch, no safety. I've even been talked about in the first round. Brian Branch has done it all. He's played center field, slot down about. Good second round pick.
All right, and so we are ready now.
Here we go. Here comes the commissioner.
This year's NFL draft, and they will do so with an announcement to the House here in Kansas City right now.
The Kansas City Chiefs selection. Please welcome Chairman and CEO of your Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs, Clark Hunt.
All right, here we go.
Come at it, Kansas City! With the 31st pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Felix Anudike-Uzomah.
Wow. Hometown player drafted to his hometown. Wow. Wow. It's just mind-boggling.
Prior to ending up at Kansas State, but had a great couple of years. Freak athlete. This guy can really scoot off the edge. So the Chiefs addressing that pass rushing need we were talking about just a little while ago. And local one here. As somebody who used to live in Kansas City, there was about, 85% Jayhawks fans, probably 10% Mizzou, and then 5% good old Manhattan, Kansas, where K-State's located.
I played plenty of concerts in Manhattan, Kansas City.
It's really
wild.
good spot there. No?
Yeah, it's a good scene.
That program. They kick tail.
Man.
KC has a nice nucleus.
Wow, what a pick.
Like whether they
Felix
were late
and
round draft
Dookie
picks who played
Uzoma
meaningful snaps last
from
year. Now you just
Kansas
add another guy
State.
to that fold.
Really good athlete.
Yeah.
Really good athlete. Should play for them. And, with the Chiefs, you're going to have a lead a lot, so you're going to need to have you can afford to have pass rushers who can just pin their ears back and do a job there, even if you can't buck up against the run, which Uzama can do. But the Chiefs are going to need to have plenty of pass rushers because they're going to be up big in a lot of second halves.
And this is a Kansas State team that does not win the Big 12, which nobody expected them to do that last year without this guy.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's not going to be for a couple of days, probably Saturday, but I can't wait to see where Deuce Vaughn gets drafted, just while we're talking about Kansas State.
Oh, yeah.
5'5".
Mike, yeah.
Giants, yeah.
What I know is that it took a whole bunch of people behind the scenes to make this show happen over the course of the last several hours.
Amen.
So we got to make sure that we say thank you to everybody that has sacrificed and worked their tails off to let us sit here and act like a bunch of idiots. And we genuinely appreciate every single one of you that have given us your time to watch this draft broadcast. I also know we will be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, for all of the picks in the second and third rounds. So we are just getting rolling. Well, we're actually going to take next, but we are just getting. So we hope that you'll consider
Felix and Ndiki Uzoma, defensive end from Kansas State, drafted to the Kansas City Chiefs, his hometown of Kansas City. That is insane. And yeah, so let's go ahead and recap the draft in round one of the draft real quick. All right, so Bryce Young is okay. So I'm on the score here, looking at all 32 picks here before we sign off. Bryce Young, his potential 4 out of 5 stars, and 17 stars. His potential is 19 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Now CJ Stroud, 4 out of 5 stars with 18 touchdowns to 13 interceptions projected. Anthony Richardson, well, third. Now, Anthony Richardson, quarterback for the Colts, projected 12 touchdowns, 13 interception, and 12 starts for the Colts. Bijan Robinson is projected 9 touchdowns with 1,238 rushing yards, and so 5 out of 5 stars potential for him. Now Jamar Gibbs with 4 stars, 730 rushing yards with 5 touchdowns for the Lions, as he'll have to share with David Montgomery and DeAndre Swift. Now you got Jackson Smith-Njigba to the Seahawks, 4 stars, 59 catches, 767 yards, and 4 touchdowns projected for him. Quentin Johnston, 52 catches for 641 yards and 4 touchdowns projected. And then for Zay Flowers, his projection is 449 catches, 622 yards, and 3 touchdowns for him. Jordan Addison, 67 catches, 853 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Dalton Kincaid, 47 catches, 601 yards, 4 touchdowns for him. And yeah, so overall, that is going to be the draft analysts and projections from round 1. And yeah, some crazy things happened tonight. The Texans traded up after they picked CJ Stroud at number 2. They trade to get Will Anderson for pick number 3. And then the Colts landed Anthony Richardson. The Eagles traded up to the 9 spot from the number 10 to land Jalen Carter. Jamar Gibbs shot have thrown to the Lions at 12. Cardinals general manager did say he does not foresee a Hopkins trade during the draft. Today we did have Lamar Jackson signing a 5-year deal, $260 million, the highest paid QB ever now, passing Jalen Hurts, who just made that, who just was reported to have had a great extension. Chargers had Quentin Johnston today. Seahawks Smith-Njigba. Falcons signed by John Robinson. Cardinals moved up to number 6 and selected Paris Johnson Jr. Seahawks selected Devon Witherspoon. Texans did trade up, of course. We did have Jaguars Robinson facing multi-game suspension for PEDs. That's coming up as well. Hamilton was linked to a 3-year, $34.5 million extension as well for the Jaguars. There was some stuff going on today as the Commanders would not exercise Chase Young's 5th-year option. And yeah, so a crazy big deal happened today with the NFL and all of this draft stuff today. A lot of stuff happening, also with Lamar signing his extension. And anyway, thanks for watching today. I really appreciate you guys watching the stream. And yeah, let's go ahead and sign off for the night. I'll be back on tomorrow night for rounds 2 and 3. And I'll be on again for rounds 4 through 7 on Saturday. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe down below. I would really appreciate it. And peace.